Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited to be playing this game and running this game, and I am kind of like stoked to be game number 2 here in Extralife this weekend. I think I want to give all of you a chance to introduce yourselves first, because that just sounds fun to me, and I'm going to do a super cool loop-de-loop direction. So Trazelta, do you feel cool and good to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, where to find you if you want to, and then tell us your character a little bit, but we'll do a whole introduction later.
Hi, my name's Traz. I'm also in the Pacific Northwest, but in the States. You can usually find me here on Dork Tales, or sometimes I am over on Barricades' channel. And I'll be playing Rufus Garrow. He is a guard mouse that specializes in fighting.
Awesome possum. Well, Cal, how about you?
Hello, my name is Cal. I do a podcast here or there, specifically about Transformers. If you want to follow me and learn more about that, you can follow me on Twitter at NeoKal, NEO_KAL. And I'm delighted to be joining you today. And I'm playing a patrol guard, a seasoned older patrol guard named Cinnamon.
I love your character so much. I think next in the list is Christa. You really do look like 5 Mouseguard.
Aren't they beautiful? I'm so proud of them. Hi guys, I'm Christa. You can use they, them, or she, her pronouns for me. You can predominantly find me here on Dork Tales. I'm occasionally over at Lawful Stupid RPG on Twitch as well on Saturdays. Normally tomorrow, but tomorrow we're doing this, so very exciting. But you can also find me on TikTok at ShahistaFX. And I have been on at least one of Cal's podcasts.
At least one.
At least one. And yeah, I'm very excited to play a mouse.
I'm very excited to have you. And last but not least, the usual DM whose seat I have stolen nefariously. What are you up to, Mr. Dork Tales, Kelly?
Nothing. I just finished making us look pretty, so
oh, we're so pretty.
We're very pretty.
Aww, and really brings out our ears.
Yep.
And hi everybody, I'm Kelly, you see and him. I'm excited to be here as a player for a change. And I'm excited because after this I have to make my entire visible body green for my next character. So it's going to be a very painty night.
I think I'm going to run like as exactly on time to the ending time as I can, just to really make you sweat. So when you put on the green, it's going to be a complete disaster for you. This is now my new goal for the game. I'm sorry. I'm the worst GM ever.
I approve of chaos.
I'll talk in slow motion towards the end of this one shot. We'll see what happens.
Well.
And all right, y'all, I should introduce myself as well. I am our stand-in GM. I am Millie and/or Bunny-Hearted. My pronouns are she and her, or they and them. You can catch me wherever bunnies are found at twitch.tv/bunnyhearted and a bunch of other social medias doing weird, cozy, comfy VTuber shenanigans. And on occasion on this channel, I straight up refer to this as the other channel I'm on at this point. And it's quite nice. I really love it over here, and I'm so excited to be a part of it every time.
We love having you.
I don't get to play a character, though. I get to play a bunch of characters, which is like bonus cool. I'm stoked on that. So I'm going to talk a tiny little bit about Mouseguard before we really get into it. I'm not going to talk too much about the rules. I mostly know them, I hope. We'll find out together. That'll be part of the adventure. But I don't think any of you have had the chance to. And I think that's okay. I think that's completely all right for going to a game like this. So I'm going to do my best to treat it a little bit like it's a D&D or an apocalypse world. It's not, but to try to sort of like squish it into that box a little bit, and we'll see how well it goes that way. But Mouseguard is a setting that I freaking adore because it's adorable and it's kind of intense, but it has a surprising amount of heart at the core of it, which is pretty darned cute. Key stuff to know about the setting is that unlike most media where you have like animal characters, things aren't scaled to human size. There are no humans in this setting. You're like 2 inches tall. A mushroom is very large. You can build a house out of it if you wanted to. You are in a like kind of not fantasy but medieval society. Probably the best analogy I've seen for where it is it's kind of like a slightly rickety crusader state for how the whole the mouse territories are in this region, although of course very, very foresty. And a very important piece of information for all of you to know is that there was just a massive war.
Oh.
And this was the war against weasels. They were in a place called Darkheather. They were like looming underground in a giant fortress city. And weasels in this setting are the size of a weasel, and you are the size of a mouse. They are like 6 of you, and they actually eat you. You're a prey animal to them. So you had a whole massive war against these weasels, and you kind of kick them out a little bit. Your territory is secured, and this war has been over for a few seasons at this point, and that's getting into some political intrigue stuff. But that's really the original core of the Mouseguard, was this defensive force. And now your role as members of the Mouseguard, where you've got your nice colored shawls, that's the thing that helps you stand out, unless you're a tender paw, you don't have yours yet. You will very soon, I'm sure, Lily. You sort of are like these veterans typically. Some of you might be real newbies, but most of you are veterans, and you're used to that kind of environment and circumstance, and you kind of no longer are needed in that way. So your new role right now is to manage the pathways between the mouse cities, which is really the only spot mice are safe. Any mouse living outside of the cities is a completely ridiculous mouse who's probably going to get eaten by a bird. So they live in the cities. But you guard the pathways to make sure that trade can still happen and all of that sort of stuff. And typically this means that in the winter, because everything is covered in a significant blanket of snow, the Mouseguard hold up in their fortress of Lockhaven, winter out the winter through with stockpiles donated from other villages, and then as the snow thaws, so too does their paws. And they go out there and go secure the roads and clear up everything and get everything sorted out. This really cute phrasing I didn't even plan to do. Nice. Do y'all have any setting questions before we get started into this?
I guess is the war very, very recent, or is it like a decade ago, or?
I think it's kind of intentionally vague. So for purposes of this, let's say it's been like 3 years, which is like a long time for a mouse, except that also you live to be in like your regular age. Like that's the one part where it's weird. So you can be like a 30-something-year-old mouse and be like, I have seen a whole bunch of seasons. This is regular.
All right.
Yeah.
And also I still live with my parents.
Yeah, quite possibly. Making a mouse house is complicated work. You gotta figure out how to make wood into like mouse sizes. That's rough and nasty. Rough and nasty all over. All right, so checking over my notes stuff, I want to go through a little tidbits on rules, just so y'all know what you need. So typically you'll be rolling a bunch of d6s for stuff. And there are a few things that we should put on your sheet right as we start, just to make sure that it's covered. So as stuff starts, there's sort of like a whole bunch of things to keep track of stat-wise. Here's my example character sheet. I have too many character sheets open right now. Dun, 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 dun. Those are, there we go. So you see a fate and a persona dot under rewards, right? So please put a 1 in each of those, because you're going to start with 1 in each of those. And those can be used for all sorts of stuff that we'll get into once we get into that stuff, but I want to make sure that you have those there on your sheets. There's also something called checks, which we'll talk a whole bunch about more later in the future, but I think that's a really great way for folks donating to support the players in this, is to give them checks, or possibly to give me checks, which is a very nefarious thing to do, which I guess would give you checks, but give me cool advantages. We'll figure it out as we go through play. It will be a whole adventure. All right, y'all feeling good?
Yep, just grabbing my d6s.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
How many do we need?
I don't know yet. You'll find you'll roll a bunch.
All right,
like
sounds good.
12, I
But a
think.
good amount. Take a good amount. The stats on your sheet are going to be the ones that you're rolling for it. So for example, if you were to do a resources roll, and I see you have resources 2, then you would roll 2d6, and potentially some stuff will add to that or take away from it depending on your trades and all of that sort of thing. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to have some poutine, and then we'll go on.
Poutine guard.
I'm going
Poutine
full
guard.
Canadian here.
Yeah.
So for dramatic music, do we have any like nice dramatic castle music? We're about to go into
Dramatic
very,
castle
like,
mid-battle or dramatic castle no battle?
not mid-battle, just like vibing.
Look at this epic castle.
Yeah, castle vibing.
Give me like 1 sec.
That vibing.
Me being
castle
nefarious, I'm
aesthetic.
always nefarious. And Blanco, I'm like more prepared for this game than I am for almost every game,
Hell yeah.
which means I'm like medium prepared. It's gotta count for something.
I really like the character creation. It gives you a little all your
Mhm.
stats are derived from like your parents and your mentor and your
Yeah,
friends. and
it
your...
gives you a full background. And so we did it in advance of game. I think ideally if someone was someone was to pick this up to run it, you would want to do it together at the table
Mhm.
because, your mentor is probably each other, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Cinnamon's
How's
so
that?
that's really
mentor.
cute. I'm glad that worked out. Cinnamon will be a great mentor, and I think this sounds great.
Okay.
So
And
it's been a hard winter, surprisingly cold, and the frost has defrosted a little bit slower than the weather watchers might have expected or preferred. And you don't quite know what that means for the spring, but it does seem to have started. There's been a significant increase in activity bustling all over the place. A whole bunch of more seasoned Mouseguard teams have already been sent out and about. And until this exact moment, the four of you were not assembled into a specific team to go out and do anything. You were not really expecting to go out and do anything. You were expecting to probably be hanging around the castle for the season or so. I think you have a patrol guard as your highest rank between the four of you.
I guess that's
so
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's Cinnamon. So Cinnamon, you are going to be sort of given a little memo one day asking you to assemble these three by name and to meet in Gwendolyn's office. And Gwendolyn is the matriarch of the Mouseguard. So the Mouseguard has a matriarch who typically runs the whole thing and is basically like the extremely fancy person in charge. You have no context for what this is. So I leave it up to you for how you approach these three. Who would you go to first?
Oh, well, Cinnamon is Lily's mentor, so she'll probably be nearby when he receives the orders.
That sounds good. You can quickly
So-
turn to Lily.
I'm gonna turn to Lily and be like, so it seems that we're finally on call.
We're gonna go out.
I don't get too excited now, but yes, we have to assemble a small team, it looks like.
Oh, good. She's just
Or-
like vibrating.
Sounds adorable. And so what is your cloak color, Cinnamon? And what is your fur color?
The cloak color
Blue cloak?
is ocean blue, and the
Ah,
fur
very
color
nice
is
cloak
cinnamon.
He's
He's just named after the
Do you have any
orangish
equipment
brown.
and stuff on you? Or is the camera panning over a mouse very nobly standing in a nice blue robe?
So he's got like a cartography kit,
Ah,
It's
nice,
like a-
nice.
ink, parchment to add to or to chart new lands, and he has a sword and axe.
That sounds super useful. You would know that every spring it feels like the terrain changes a little bit because your paths are so small and compared to human paths that any significant rain or frost or freezing can cause a whole change of routes. So this might be a very important mission for you. So
Mm.
Lily, how about you? What's your fur color?
Lily's fur color is my hair, kind of a little browner than Cinnamon's
Mhm.
probably, but kind of auburny. And she wears gray cloak because she hasn't gotten her cloak color yet. And she kind of looks a little bit like a hunchback, but it's just because she has such a big backpack that has like lots of spare ink and lots of paper and like a weirdly large like compass that she's like, it's like a shell, a nut shell with like some water in it and a tiny little piece of magnet she found that points
Aw,
north.
that's
and-
adorable. See, you look like an extremely prepared explorer. The two of you definitely make a good cartographer looking team.
Yeah, she's like what's his name from Up, the boy from Up. Just this like
Right,
giant
okay.
backpack and just, like, really stoked.
That sounds super adorable. So out of Trevor and Rufus, who are you two approaching next in your team assembly?
All right.
Do you know them? Are these people you have to hunt down?
Trevor is unusually chipper in the early mornings, so we're gonna go bug Trevor first.
All right, sounds good. Trevor, what are you up to when these two come jangling and bangling all sorts of gear and devices and backpacks down the hallway towards you?
So Trevor is probably located like on the lower levels of the keep, probably out by the stables, taking care of the various beetles and things, being a bit of an animal lover or an insect lover as he is.
Yeah, sounds good. I
Probably
think today one of the main animals that have been through have been hares, because some of the Mouseguard will ride hares around to go long distances. So you may have just been helping out with some like hare stalks, because they're sentient. They get talked to and organized. They've made sort of a deal to be horses on occasion. So you're helping with the feed transfer for a bunch of very hungry bunnies.
So yeah, absolutely helping out with that then. Maybe taking a quick breather break, like in the middle of it.
And a good morning to you too.
Good morning, Cinnamon. How are you doing today?
Oh, just fine, fine. But well, I've got some exciting news for you.
Oh, for me, normally the exciting news goes right past me. Probably wouldn't bring it to me if you were actually trying to drop it off somewhere nice, eh?
That's for you by name. And assuming there's like summons orders.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Little
absolutely.
scrolls.
All of you are named on it. This is Gwendolyn's wax seal on it. Real
Hands that over to Trevor and be like, "Welcome to the team, lad."
Oh.
Aren't you excited?
Oh, they spilled it right and everything. Oh. Poop. Hell.
I know. Try to contain your excitement.
Hi. Do we know what we're doing? Does it say here? I didn't read all of it.
Mm-mm. No details at all. Just that
well,
you're summoned immediately.
I guess that means I can bring a friend. Oh, Bailey! Bailey, come on over, girl. Call my beetle over.
Sort of scroofle on up. Looks up at you with those eyes that you know mean snacks.
Oh yeah, one for you. Give her a blueberry.
Blink. Nom 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 nom. Get the massive blueberry.
All right, so who else is going on this team?
Aye, we've got one more to join us, Mr. Milner.
I think a
Someone didn't change their name.
Where did I change?
Yeah, sorry. Can you read this? Sorry, can you read this for me?
We've got no Millers around here.
I think it says a Rufus Garrow on there. I think. Yeah.
Garrow. Oh, Garrow.
That's me just ribbing James a little bit.
Where? I changed it. Or where did I miss it? Oh, well.
Or is he the Miller?
No.
Oh, the Miller's boy. Aye, yeah.
Oh, perhaps.
Oh, perhaps he is. Perhaps
So,
he is.
No,
Trevor,
Cinnamon, sorry,
what
you
are
misread
you
that.
what are you wearing? What kind of equipment do you have as you get organized to head out? Do you have a robe and a beetle, or do you have a robe, a beetle, and a whole bunch more stuff?
So he's got a red cape and cowl. He's got a beetle and also has like a hunting knife on his belt, as well as a quite ornate handmade bow. I guess they're all handmade in this day, but this one looks like it's been patched and repaired. This bow is the equivalent of like the truck in every redneck's yard.
All right, so it's a little slapdash, you mean, right?
It's been repaired many times, but it's got character.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, the three of you are assembled and go stomp down the very, very busy hallways. It looks like there's a lot of mice running around and getting organized and heading out today. Kind of surprising, to be honest, Cinnamon, that this is so last minute. Who knows what it is? What is Rufus up to when these three, very noisily and obviously with how much equipment they're carrying, approach?
Oh, Rufus works as both a miner and an armorer, so he's probably working on making sure his halberd's up to state standard.
So you in the armory?
Yes.
So you hear nothing as these three approach.
No, all you hear is clang, clang.
Rufus!
Clang, clang.
Suppose I'll let myself in then. Very gently, so he doesn't receive a hammer in the head. Cinnamon is going to tap Rufus on his non-hammer swinging side.
Just see the hammer go flying back. What?
Quite an arm on you. on the other line.
Sorry, startled me.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and it seems that we've got a summons, and well, I've come to collect you, boy.
Busy work, huh?
We get to go out, Rufus. We get to go out.
I mean, really, it's kind of redundant, really, when you think about it that way, because all work is really busy work at the end of the day.
I like that attitude.
This is important work. It's very important.
Important work. Unless you're not doing it right, then it's probably important work. Which is for the Weather Watchers, really, if you think so.
Hey.
That's really funny, Trevor.
Yeah, well, I don't get much moving around
Suppose it
working
is.
on the armor.
So, well, you said you're keeping your halberd up to stuff. What other kind of equipment do you have?
Maybe kills a halberd, and he wears some chainmail armor.
Okay, so you have actual. Do you have like heavy armor? Heavy armor? Or is it light armor?
Probably light armor. Anything too heavy would hinder him too much.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. So you are like a regular sized mouse wearing tiny chainmail.
Yes.
Which is adorable. Thank you for this. I greatly appreciate it.
Nice.
Do that, and you've got your halberd. And what was your cloak color?
Black.
Okay, and I forgot to ask you this too, Trevor. But what's your fur color?
Oh, sorry, mine? Kind of like a strawberry blonde. So
No, that sounds really cute.
Like the
and
ear
Rufus's?
color, a little bit. Oh, I got a reroll because of my accent. Thank you.
Always nice. Always nice. Okay. So the four of you are assembled and start heading down, up towards Gwendolyn's office. She's stationed somewhere quite central, but basically at the very, very tippy top of the castle. One of the few places that actually has windows that lead outside. So as you approach, you start getting glimpses of a very, very pretty blue sky. It looks nice out there. As you arrive, another group of Mouseguard are sauntering out of the office. They look like they're in a bit of a rush, so they sort of push past you and start marching down the hallway. This group is all armor and weapons and sword and board, a very rough and tumble crew. And then Gwendolyn's assistant, a very, very small mouse with a tiny pair of glasses, will beckon you for inside. How do you step in? Confidently or nervously?
Oh, we're all stepping in with pep in our stride.
Totally.
Or at least cinnamon is from the sound of it.
Trevor, maybe not.
Nah,
so much.
that sounds good. That sounds good. So as you gather inside Gwendolyn's office, this place is probably the prettiest part of Lockhaven. There's actual stained glass here showing several other matriarchs through the history of most kind. And then in the middle of this room, that sort of get a bit of a red glow despite the blue sky, just from all of the stained glass here, is Gwendolyn, probably the most famous mouse. And she looks up at you and her little mousy shoulders drop. And she goes, "Oh, thank goodness you can make it here so quickly. Wax was hardly dry on that summons. Welcome."
Well, I mean, if you're trying to summon us in this quickly, and you need us this quickly, you needn't waste wax. It's actually quite a bit of a problem to get it.
We can always reuse it, I suppose.
I suppose that's probably the...
Cinnamon, I'm so sorry to put this on you. I have a bit of a request. Oh my gosh, I love that you have a letter with a wax seal on it.
I've noticed that there weren't any important details in our summons.
Have you even opened it?
If you're questioning whether or not I've read it, I assure you, I handed that off to my assistant.
There were no important details in the summons. No great secret, no significant intrigue or anything like that, but
I wondered why my seal
something
was broken.
concerning. And I wanted to pull a team together as quickly as possible to go take a look, just in case. So over the winter,
Case
of what?
well, there's a reason I feel like I shouldn't be nervous, but we'll get into that in a moment. Over the winter, as you know, we try to stay in contact with the various mouse towns and cities throughout the realm, and then sort of reestablish and see what their needs are come spring. But one of these towns, Lilygrove, far to the southeast, we've heard nothing from since the snow fell. No response to the insects that we've been sending since snow melted. Now, this is quite a journey, but we really should have heard back by now. There is Sir Bartholomew. You may know him. I will say out of character. This is a very well-known war hero who has reportedly wintered in the area instead of returning here to Loch. So perhaps that will be to your advantage. But my apologies, Cinnamon. This team is under your purview until you meet up with Sir Bartholomew, in which case he can take over as the patrol leader.
Is
that acceptable?
Ma'am, I'm just a patrol guard.
You're being temporarily promoted.
Oh, congratulations! Would you like a nip or something?
Don't disappoint me.
I'll offer him a vial of some. I forgot that I also have like jars of booze on me.
Sounds good.
Jar of drink.
So there is a whole apiary here, so mead absolutely makes sense.
Well,
Lily
given the
looks at it
circumstances,
kind of like she wants some, but doesn't say.
Oh, we can have some. Yeah. Yeah, just a nip. Oh, just a nip.
just to wake
like
us
the
up.
tiniest sip.
It's very good. His parents were brewers.
Gwendolyn looks very entertained at this.
Lady Gwendolyn.
It was a good bottle this year. Still don't know where in the castle they make that stuff.
It's best if you don't know.
I've heard that, but I do hear it's quite good. And yes, some cinnamon.
I mean, it's alcohol. It kind of takes care of itself.
Lady Gwendolyn, the courier beetles. There's been no word at all.
No word at all. No. We send our messages through Maple Harbor, who then send them on across the water, and they've heard no response. So I would say I think your first stop should probably be Maple Harbor. Perhaps the insect keepers would know more, and then from there I would recommend that you travel by sea for expediency. But of course, it's up to you, Cinnamon.
Well, expediency then it is. I grew up near the sea.
That's something I thought was the case. It's good to have confirmed.
But that's where the water is.
No, the sea is where the water is.
So like on the water, on the water.
I don't float.
Oh,
No.
sure you do. You just don't know it yet.
We have invented boats.
Right.
She allows herself a small giggle.
Don't worry, my family
will
are
be fine,
boat makers.
Trevor.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
You can always choose to walk if you must.
Well, Lady Gwendolyn, we'll talk amongst ourselves about the best course of action, and we'll bid you adieu.
Sounds good. Please return to me safely, you four, and bring Sir Bartholomew with you. So I shouldn't have allowed him to winter so far from home. You look like you have a question.
Quick question. What was the name of the town he was in? Lily
Grove.
So it is
Grove.
Lily Grove.
Thank you. I got Lily Vale in my head. I was like, that's incorrect.
Mm-hmm. Everything is like a harbor or a grove or a vale.
Welcome to Lily Vale.
It's very adorable.
And the coast town was Maple
Harbor.
Harbor. Excellent. All right, so once we're out of her chambers, Cinnamon's going to turn to everybody and so everyone's A-okay with taking to the seas, I take it. Trevor, you showed some reservation?
Oh, I've just never really been on anything larger than a pond.
Oh, we won't be going out of...
when you're a mouse.
We won't be going out of eyesight from the coast.
Oh, good, because that's the thing about the water that kind of wigs me out is that I can't see the other side.
And we'll stick close enough.
I suppose so long as I can see one side, that's almost like seeing both sides.
Yeah, as long as you
one direction.
turn around in a circle, eh?
You've got it 100% exactly what I'm planning on doing. Turning around in a circle and not looking the other way.
And
that was more than a nip.
No, I was gonna say it seemed like a particularly significant nip. Yeah.
So yeah, assuming we have written orders from Gwendolyn, Would we be able to procure some hairs to get to Maple Harbor faster?
So I think at the moment, unfortunately, the hairs are going to be spoken for and have already left. You might be able to try, well, I guess not all of them have left yet. So that there is a party who's planning to head out very soon with hairs. You could attempt to somehow acquire these hairs.
How many of us can fit on a hare?
I would say 2 comfortably.
It's like a motorcycle, right?
How,
It's a little,
how,
it's like a very large motorcycle.
how far away is Maple Harbor, like, if we were to walk?
So it would probably take you about a week to walk there. Which is not too, like, that
For
it could be
us,
much
yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so before the other team heads out with their hairs, Cinnamon is going to try to intercept them as they're gearing up alongside his band of merry adventurers.
Sure, sounds good. Let me go grab a quick name here. See, you walk up to this group. It's a group that you're not really all that familiar with, but their patrol leader will introduce himself as Vegan. And he asks, "What do you want?"
I can't help but to notice that each of your men have a hair for their own before they're heading out.
Good eyes on you.
Well, I'm just a patrol guard, but well, I have to say that we can go 2 mouse to a air, and Lady Gwendolyn has asked us to oh, Lily, what was the town?
Maple Harbor.
Asked us to head to Maple Harbor post haste, and if we split the hairs between your group and mine, we can both follow orders as best as we can.
So it sounds to me like you're trying to persuade.
He's trying to mitigate his hair loss.
How do you feel about rolling this, Cinnamon?
He's going to waive the orders that don't have anything on them and be like, well, actually, it's imperative. I'm not taking all the hairs from you, just 2. And it's imperative we get them no matter what. So maybe
Okay,
manipulator?
sounds good. Sure.
Since
If you're lying about it,
pretending
you're going, you know what?
pretending
These
that
are the
he
most
has-
important orders Gwendolyn has ever issued. Is anyone helping out with this particular shenanigan?
Do you
I'd
have
listen-
Offering in?
Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. Kelly.
I listened to him. He's pretty important. He's got a
Sure,
big
yeah.
promotion.
It's true.
I'm gonna use
Yeah.
persuader.
He did
Okay.
just get a big promotion.
So,
I
so
don't
for this
actually-
one, for we'll go through a little bit how rolls work. I like this as a first roll. It's not. I wasn't expecting you to do rolls at this point. So it's quite cute actually. So you can 2 of you can assist. And sort of if it makes sense narrative wise why you're assisting, you would get an additional d6 per assist, but up to 2. So I think it sounds like you're trying to manipulate
can I
a little
assist
bit
with
too with the.
Persuader?
Well, I think in this case, sure.
I was
Like,
gonna say
maybe mechanically, I don't know, but sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lily won't actually like say anything. She'll just kind of look dreamily at the rabbits and look real excited because like she's never gotten to ride on her hair before and she's really excited about it. And so maybe the hopes of
I'm gonna have to
helping
come
the
up with
small
names for these
mouse's
hairs, aren't
dreams.
I?
Harry.
I'll look up Harry.
Yeah.
I'll look up
Rufus
rabbit
P-
names for you.
And Cinnamon's
Rufus-
going to whisper to the patrol leader on the other side. He's like, all of my mice are green, and honestly, it looks like your men are a little bit more hardened, be able to handle themselves a little bit more. Don't know if they'd be able to make it without a hair. If you'd be doing us a kindness, as well as following Lady Gwendolyn.
All right. So you've got a +2. What's your manipulator?
2.
So you are rolling 4d6. You're looking for a 4, a 5, and a 6. It's basically 50-50 on whether or not you will get a success. And I tell you in advance, I will say the difficulty for this, I think, is just 2. I don't think they're that hard to convince, despite how standoffish they are. So that's a pretty regulation task, difficulty-wise.
All right. Remind me the snake swords and axes.
Right. So basically, it's a botch. And then you can spend some stuff to reroll 6s, and I think that's the axes.
Yeah,
Or is that swords?
I think it's 6. You roll like, isn't it 4 through 6?
Because you can
is our
spend
success?
fate points, or you can spend fate points to use your Y's to reroll 6s. For this, I guess let's see where we go. Let's see what the results are first.
So I rolled a 4, 2 5s, and 1 6.
Goodness gracious. Well, I think you are certainly succeeding with flying colors, to be honest. You succeeded in all of those dice. So I don't think you need to worry too much about paying for rerolls or anything like that. I think you're good to go. All right. So they will Began will drop his shoulders and turn to his little patrol and go, this one's right. A pretty brown one.
Oh, yeah.
Harry,
Pretty.
Barry,
Well.
you two are with these 4. Do you need them to return from Maple Harbor, or will you find your own way back? The two hairs look over, and this is clearly Harry and Barry.
We'll be
Harry and Barry, nice to meet you.
We'll be heading across the water, so they would be free to go afterwards.
Perfect. To meet up with us back here after you drop these 4 off. Hopefully we'll be back by then. Ride safe, Cinnamon. You 3.
Thank you kindly.
Convincing little. Stumbles off a
Lily
little
totally
bit.
copies Cinnamon if he does like a fancy bow, and she's like, "Oh, right."
So well done. You have acquired a couple of cute, ginormous. I mean, these are hares. They're not bunnies.
Mhm.
So this is like if a bunny saw the ends of time and space and was forever corrupted from the knowledge beyond the edge of the void. These are a little bit terrifying, and they're much bigger than you. This is like riding a small elephant as a horse.
All right. Trevor, Rufus, either of
Hey.
you rode a hare before?
Oh, absolutely.
Trevor, you want to take the ears of Barry and along with Rufus, and Lily and I will take Harry.
You've ridden a hare before, haven't you, Cinnamon?
This
is a good question.
Once or twice or half a dozen.
Those are 2 drastically different numbers, but I don't mind at all.
I
All
guess
right.
this is a good question. Have you ridden a hare before?
He
What?
has during the war.
Oh,
Mm.
Oh,
yeah.
during the wire.
During the war,
Wow.
Where?
he was an onion smuggler, and behind
He
enemy
lost the
lines,
Onion smoke.
He lost the tip of your paws.
he just and I.
You're just like, oh.
Okay, but how
How'd
does
you know?
an onion is so much bigger than you? This is such complicated smuggling.
No,
Yeah.
they were spring onions.
Oh, there
Okay,
you go.
okay.
Yeah.
This is still quite
So-
large.
They cut the
What do you
greens
use-
off and just took
what's
the
your-
bulbs.
What's your riding roll?
Yeah, I was looking what is.
So essentially we come down to like what feels appropriate for a challenge, but we'll get there in a moment.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'll
So-
climb up on the hare. Oh, nice to meet you. Barry, was it?
Does a little affirmating grunt noise.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Rufus will climb on
Yeah.
behind Trevor.
Harry and Barry sort of look at each other and then hop off with a start.
Ah!
The 4 of you hang on as they leap out these massive carved oak doors, and the bloom effect goes off as you hop out into the spring sun. There are piles of snow all around you that are openly melting, but it looks like, some of it's been cleared out from the entrance at least. And there's still a lot of activity out here. Lots of parties are going out. This seems to be the day for it. As you exit those big doors and head out into the wide world of the mouse territories and to immediate danger, I want to know a little bit about how each of you is feeling about it. So when you take on a mission, you get a belief, a goal, and an instinct that's relevant to that mission. and you can use these a little bit if you play towards them to get some nice little points you can use to spend on stuff throughout play. So I sent y'all a little document on it, and if in that document you could put your belief as it pertains to this mission, your goal as it pertains to this mission, and your instinct into there, I think that would be very, very beneficial, and then we can also go through them. Any of you feel particularly ready to share those already?
Sure.
Did you need them to be specific to the mission?
They're
They don't
specific to the
have
mission.
to be. They're sort of like, but they are in the context of that mission, which is why although I think most of these are already done, we're sort of officially doing them now, so you have a chance to change them or stuff like that. Because like maybe your goal in the mission is to see a fish. I don't know.
All right. I can
Go ahead, Kelly.
I was gonna say I can share mine if people want to.
That sounds great. Let's hear him, Trevor. What is Trevor?
So his belief is that he's a guard mouse for a reason. So he's gonna go out there and try to help anyone that he can, no matter what the cost is.
Aw. And what's Trevor's goal with this mission?
Honestly, he's a little bit terrified about going out and meeting about going on the water. But he's never really been out by the shore before, so there's a chance to go and meet new insects or animals that he's never encountered before.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to see them in person.
Absolutely. I have a question for you on that as well. Are you taking your beetle? You could put the beetle on the back of the hair.
I think I will. She's basically a dog.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. He's basically a dag.
This is adorable.
What you're saying is you like dags.
You like dags?
You like dags? You like dags? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm playing a traveler. I'm playing a Brad Pitt traveler. That's the voice I'm doing. Crap. And then the instinct is to meerkat up. Oh, just got reroll the cinnamon. He's probably going to need it. It's probably true. Dork Knight. I probably do.
It's probably true. It's probably true.
Thank you very much. My instinct is to stop and listen to environmental clues.
Okay.
So I
Sounds good.
picture
Sounds like
him.
a very mousy instinct.
I think the instinct is to do the thing that Gordy did in Stand By Me with the tracks. Just
I love this. This is adorable.
snake. I'm assuming that a snake is about the same thing as a train. So
Probably.
Yes.
it's long, and if it hits you, it's long, and if it
If
hits
the
you, you're
front
screwed.
hits you, you're
You're
done.
in trouble.
All right.
Like
Who else
snake
feels
overpasses.
good to share belief, goals, and instincts? All right, I saw
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon's finger up first, but you'll be next, Lily, and then we'll go down to Rufus.
All right. Cinnamon's belief is that youth is to be nurtured and protected at all costs because, those youngins are so eager to die, but, that doesn't aid the cause. And his goal is to not only teach Lily, make sure she becomes a proud guard mouse, but to keep everyone alive, even if it costs the mission. It's better to fail and come back home than it is
Okay.
to succeed.
That sounds very, very good to me. What is your instinct here?
And his instinct is to stand his ground, whether that's in a battle or socially, and protect his underlings at the cost of himself.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, Lily, I saw you poking your cheeks. What's your belief here?
My belief is the world is meant to be explored.
Oh no!
She wants to see more of the world. Her goal is to fill in a missing section of the map. So while part of it is going to be like to change, be like, okay, well, this path has changed a little bit, and like keep notes on that. She wants to see somewhere that no one's been before and they don't have maps of. So she might not get to go there on this trip, but that's her goal overall.
Okay, awesome. That sounds fantastic.
And her instinct is to always try to fix problems alone. If something goes wrong, she feels, especially if it's her fault, she feels like she has to do it and like fix everything first. And so she's always going to kind of jump to fix a problem.
Okay, sounds good. This feels like a really, really good set of outlooks on this so far. How about Rufus?
So Rufus has always been trained to protect everyone around him.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he's not usually in battles, but whenever he is, try to keep everyone alive if you can.
Okay.
Uh,
It's not like your
goal?
belief is to protect those around you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Goal? Yeah, and goal is to find out what happened in Lily Grove because trade is very important, especially in his line of work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
towns can't live without trade.
So what is Rufus's line of work? Armory and...
It's armory and smithing, and he has a little bit of weaving, but armory and smithing are his primary.
Right, of course. Yeah, without trade, you would have no materials.
Nope.
And what's your
And,
instinct here?
Don't hesitate in the face of danger. He's actually a little bit reckless when it comes to fighting. Little
All
fearless.
right, that sounds good. Do you have... What traits do you have?
I have 2 levels of fearless. So.
Oh, goodness gracious. You are going to get yourself in so much
Yep.
trouble.
Okay, he's got fearless. I have 2 of inquisitive. Don't
Brilliant,
let us
brilliant.
alone together.
Oh my.
Oh, goodness. This is going to be a fun combination of adventures here.
Cinnamon has his work cut out for him.
Yes, he does.
Yep, absolutely. So the 4 of you on your 2 hobby mounts scoot down the path. You will unfortunately have to navigate. Who feels like taking the lead on this? This will be a Pathfinder test. I'm going to say it's difficulty 3 because it's still quite melty and the path is damaged. Do you want to go for it? Okay.
The
Does
eye,
anyone want to assist?
I can assist, but the eye
I can
isn't as
assist.
what it used to be, so I'll leave that to the youngins.
Okay,
I'm pretty
sounds
decent
good,
at
sounds good.
pathfinding. I can assist.
Okay, awesome. And I think that makes sense. And so Lily, I'm picturing you like very excitedly pulling out a map and like marking exactly the 10 meters you've traveled so far, which sounds small but is large for a mouse.
And
sort of
Cinnamon's
mapping
holding
everything
his
out.
map, but it's like upside down.
Don't know. So it sounds like you're ready to do a Pathfinder roll on this. I think I'm cool with you getting a +1 for each of these beings who are assisting you, up to a +2. Now I want to talk about one of the options here. So something that you can do, and there's a little bit more information on this on your character sheet under the second page, I think, when there's using traits and checks. So you can choose, because right now we're in something called the GM's term, which I'll explain a little bit more as we go through. So you can choose to give yourself a negative die here to gain a boon for yourself later on. So if you feel like, your nature, something like that, or not your nature, your traits could get you in trouble or something like that could come up here. You have the option of going, you know what, I think I'm going to be a little bit too inquisitive to pay attention to this, and I've got a little bit of a demerit here. And you may still succeed, but you're risking a little bit for a nice future reward. Or potentially to get rid of conditions, which is a big thing that will probably happen very soon. So you don't have to do it. I just wanted to make sure you were aware it was an option. And I think you may have turned your microphone off because I cannot hear you.
Definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
So I can sacrifice 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can give +2.
So you
to
sacrifice a
monster.
die to take a check. So just remember that you have a check.
Okay, and then
you could mark it on your sheet or something like that. And also Cinnamon, there's one thing I should let you know as well. Under manipulator, where it says advancement, there's like a P and an F. Mark off one of those P's because you passed a manipulator test.
I started filling
about
in
that in a
those
moment,
dots
too.
as if it was a White Wolf game. And
Yeah.
then I was like, no, that's advancement. And I had to unclick.
Yeah,
all.
I saw that on some of the sheets too, and that's fine. We'll figure it out as we go. But I want to talk about that as we go.
And there's a
through more
P
tests
and an
too.
F column. That's P.
Yep. Let's see how this roll goes. Are
Donation.
you giving me a thing and getting a check here?
Yeah, and then where do I
Reroll.
track checks?
You just sort of
Cinnamon.
do.
You get a reroll.
Woo!
Oh,
Nice, Cinnamon. You're probably going to need it. There are
And,
fewer rolls in this game than in D&D typically, so make sure you're tracking the rerolls and stuff that you have.
oh
And
is that
Bricarius just donated $50. Breck, what do you want?
Woo! Thank you, Breck. Really appreciate it.
so I've got
Do
1
trash.
reroll, I think.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay,
Lily.
so and then I get a check, and then I can use that later for the thing that's a spending.
Yeah. So we'll
checks.
have a thing called a player turn, which we'll hopefully do later, depending on how things go.
Okay.
We'll have at least one.
Yeah, I'll use 1 and give up 1. So my pathfinding is 4. So I have 4
Okay,
dice,
brilliant.
and then 1 from each. So that puts me to 6, and then I'm sacrificing 1.
Yes, that sounds
Correct.
good to me.
Awesome. Ooh. That's
Funko break.
that's only 2 successes.
Okay. So mark an F next to that.
Sorry.
So that is the other track is failure. So something to keep track of throughout the game here. And this is something to be aware of for the whole game, is that this doesn't just happen at the end of session. Mark any check that you, or any test that you pass or fail, and keep an eye on it at all times, because if you end up passing more than your skill level, which could be like nothing, and fail, so your which is the current amount -1. So if you have like one more pass, then you have fails, and that pass is above your current skill level, advance the skill, add +1 to it. And that's how you develop
Wow.
skills. You develop it by doing, and you do it in play. So that means in a sword fight, you can get better at sword fighting,
Oh,
which is pretty nifty. I think so. There's a whole bunch more stuff around skills. We'll probably get into some of it, but one thing that's probably important to know is that you don't necessarily have to roll like these kind of skills. You can also probably roll nature or health or will to do so. When a situation seems appropriate to do that, we'll talk about it. But that's basically the mousy form reversion, where you're like, I'm not going to sneak like a person, I'm going to sneak like a mouse. I'm like, okay, that sounds like you're doing nature. And you know, nature probably is a very large number for you, so it's not bad to do.
It's
but
pretty
it stunts
big.
your advancement on skills. So, all right.
Awesome.
So unfortunately, however, you have failed at this navigation.
She got
Let's
way
see.
too excited and like she erased a section of the map that she was like trying to draw the new
Mhm.
map of, and then went, oh no, and like missed a fork or something.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna be a little bit nice. So what happens when something fails here? And this is a moment where this is a little bit powered by the apocalypse. I respond, and I do so not by using a move, but by applying a condition, or adding a twist. So twist is like, you know, a whole thing happens. Maybe you get attacked by a crow, but in this case, I think I'm just going to apply a condition. And I think for you, I will probably apply the hungry and thirsty condition, because this was an awful lot more work than you anticipated. I don't think it's hard enough to make you angry and then to give hungry and thirsty to the two who assisted you, but I could do that for like a more intense task, and you'll eventually get on the way, but it takes a little bit longer than you intended, and you're kind of stressed out, and
Yeah.
you definitely need a snack break after this.
She definitely like hyper focused in on her mapping and forgot that
Mhm.
food was a thing.
Oh,
That I had that
welcome, Letsy.
experience.
It's good to see you. I'm trying to watch
Mil-
chat as well.
Millie, check DM.
Check DM in the chat here.
Check our private messages.
Thank you for
This is
clarifying.
a very, very good private message. Fantastic.
It's not
I
good
love
for
this
me.
an awful lot.
No.
I think it is a fantastic private message. And hang on, oh wait, I'm gonna change a twist I have. So eating more protein and pulling the curtain back. I have plotted this with a little bit of like a flowchart style thing. Now, what I was thinking with donations and stuff is I would make them worse or change them around.
Mhm.
And in this case, I will do both.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
So you continue on a little bit, and you're hopping along for about a day. You make camp, and you get going again in the morning. You found the path that you're on again. You think that the two hares are probably like talking crap about the four of you at this point, because you know you got a little bit lost, but who knows? Who knows? They talk in their own little like bunny language. Some mice can talk to them. I don't know if any of you have like the animal stuff, or if it's just the insect stuff.
I've got 2 points of lore mouse.
Okay, so I think none of you can understand what the heck these hares are talking about, but they're clearly talking to each other on occasion. They seem very amused about something, but they understand you and are scooting around a little bit. So that's going pretty all right. And you are honestly making really good time, Lily, although it took you a while to get your bearings, and you may have taken a couple of wrong turns and gone through some brambles, which is real rough when you're tiny. You have made it onto what you're pretty confident is the right path towards Maple Harbor. And in a sign that tells you that you're absolutely correct, this has to be the right direction, you see ahead of you a little trading caravan. And as you start approaching, getting a little bit closer, you note that it looks like the caravan may have been knocked over a bit. And you start hearing sort of a screeching noise. some kind of horrible bird monster must be up there making an awful ruckus up ahead. As you get a little bit closer, you can see that the merchant's cart has been fully knocked over. A cob of corn that they were carting has been knocked onto the road. And the merchant is yelling and waving a very, very small stick at a very large bird. What do you do?
Oh, we didn't name our group.
This is a good opportunity to do so.
Mouseketeers.
That's already taken.
Oh,
Mouse cute ears.
mouse cute ears.
We'll workshop it after the fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
To arms. And
Rufus is gonna jump off the rabbit and
arms or
charge.
it sounds like you're running up and are you trying to
paws.
scare
To
it off,
paws.
or are you going to try to attack this hawk?
Oh, we're
Say,
flying at it.
okay,
Axe
this is
in
gonna be an
paw.
entertaining adventure. I think we might go into an actual conflict much faster than I anticipated. This should be a lot of fun. Do any of you have like animal related skills?
I have Predator Wise, and I have
Goodness,
Lore
So do
Mouse.
I.
very, very useful.
Oh, do
So
you?
I will-
I have Predator as well.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
So then you
I can
two will know
change
that
my
this
wise
is
then.
very, very luckily. No, I think having overlap is okay because that means both of you
Okay.
can do wise stuff to assist, and that'll be actually probably very, very useful
Help each
in
other.
perhaps fighting this thing. Should you fight this thing, this is definitely a juvenile hawk, and it seems maybe a little bit unsure of what the heck it's doing, sort of hopping back and forth along the side of the road. But it seems really interested in that corn. And it sounded like you were charging basically into battle against this thing. Are you drawing weapons and charging a giant bird dragon?
How
Are you gonna try to
obvious
scare it off?
How obvious is it that it wants the corn?
Pretty darn. It keeps pecking at it, and then the merchant mouse hits it with a stick, yells.
Get back, you, because Cinnamon's all about getting people to survive. He's not about honor and like valor and like winning battles. He's
Okay.
so he's actually gonna pull this fool back because he's just using a stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gonna pull him
This guy has
back.
fearless 3.
Or
Not have
throw
a brain cell between those ears.
Oh no.
and throw him back, but instead of chopping at the axe, he's gonna or at the corn, he's gonna chop at the hawk. Bleh. He's
Mhm.
gonna chop at the corn to cut it in half to make the
Oh.
half that the hawk is trying to eat lighter, so that it can take its corn and just
All
leave.
right. Okay.
And at the
this,
cost of half the corn, we get to live.
this sounds like a really interesting task. Okay.
Ah, the Solomon tactic,
I feel
which
like
is different than the Soul Omen tactic.
yeah. I feel like this might be a laborer task to cut through a cob of corn, which is, the size of you.
It's a tree
Very-
trunk. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much doable. But this will take a good chunk of work. Do you walk up and just sort of like put a paw towards the hawk and then just start wailing on this corn?
I guess would be getting this guy out of here be the first task, or
I think you can walk up and pull them out. They're not currently engaged in an official mechanics conflict or something like that. They're just sort of hopping angrily at each other.
yeah, pull him out of the way and takes a chop with his hoping that the others
Okay.
see and his example, and that the he yells to Rufus to give him a hand on the other side of the cob so that they're like chopping from opposite ends.
All right.
Get on the other side and swing your
Do
axe
any of you
on, boy.
have the laborer skill? I assume not. It's not a standard one.
I
No,
do.
You
I
do.
Who
Am I the
does?
only one that does?
I don't.
I don't.
Pretty
Please help.
sure.
You, Lily, may want to take the lead on this one. And show
Okay.
them. You can show them how it's done. Maybe you
I've got-
cut through.
Like,
I've got
stick
Haggler.
Like, where do we slash?
Haggler's
Can you
Where do we
hacking.
haggle
slash?
with it?
Hey, you!
See,
Hey, you big
Huh.
turkey buzzard! Don't take all the corn. That's rude.
I was a bird. All right. I forgot what a bird's nature is in this. Okay, carry on.
Be a
So
dick.
you walk up and you yell at this juvenile hawk and start chopping at the corn. And it's going to start like squeaking and cawing and screaming at you and hopping all over the place. But it doesn't attack you. So that seems pretty successful so far. And you're trying to chop the corn. Hopefully you can chop the corn apart fast enough for this hawk to accept your donation of
Is the
skin.
merchant doing anything stupid while we're doing this?
Not at the moment.
Okay. I want to kind of eyeball the merchant, make sure he doesn't start charging the hawk again.
Okay, that sounds very good.
Are there any sacks, like empty sacks, kicking around?
No empty sacks, but there's a bunch of sacks with like, big kernels of grain in them.
She's gonna take her cloak off, and instead of trying to chop and like, because the cob is like super thick, she's gonna throw a rope over, and just grab a
Okay.
rope off of the caravan, throw a rope over in, and sort of set her side in where the chop is, and go, Rufus, grab the other side,
All right.
pull down and over. And she's gonna try to make this thing pop all the kernels off and land on her cloak.
Okay. I think that this is brilliant. Very, very scuffy and quite tasty looking if you're a hawk that wants to eat a bunch of corn. So all right.
Hooray.
Let's do the labor test.
Okay.
It sounds like you're getting some assistance.
Yes. Now, what is one test during? Oh, that's player's turn. Okay, never mind.
So that is something that will happen in time.
Okay.
Right now we're in the GM's turn, and my role in the GM's turn is to give y'all a bunch of obstacles.
That's a 6 and a 4.
6 and a 4. Okay, I should have told you the difficulty for this. I feel like the difficulty for this. You know what? It's silly. I'm going to give it to you. It's difficulty 2. I feel like this should be hard to do, but this is such a ridiculous thing to do that I kind of want to give you that little bit of, maybe the corn has been slightly pre-cooked, so it comes off a little bit more easily than you would anticipate. And so it scoops some of the corn into this robe. And the hawk looks extremely confused.
I apologize.
You
I have a
have
dog
befuddled
barking in the
a
background.
bird.
She'll then grab she'll say, Trevor, help, and she'll grab her cloak and try to pull it.
Oh, grab and pull.
Sounds good. And so you grab and pull it. What are you doing with this cloak? A very inquisitive and quite hungry, basically dragon to you would like to know.
She's gonna kind of bundle up the two sides and leave it as like a little bundle so that it can grab it.
Okay, and you just sort of step back like this, like here's our offering.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll some
Cinnamon's
birdie
useless
nature.
in this regard, so he's just holding the caravan owner like back.
Yeah, he seems quite defeated when he started scraping off the corn.
It's only like the top bit. Like the top.
Fine, it's
top
fine.
bit.
So I think the hawk will grab the corn and fly up on top of a tree. Sort of look down at you and go, "Ah!"
Okay. I think we're okay. Is everyone okay?
Start snacking on corns. You no longer have a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair. You're probably not supposed to have one anyways, so checks out.
Exactly.
The shopkeep looks really quite defeated at this, however.
You're
Man,
lucky
I
he's
you
was
not
decided to-
fine. I could have hit it with a stick more.
What is your
You
stick gonna
could've.
do?
until it got the
Stick it to 'em.
scent, until it got the scent of blood. And then what, you damn fool?
I hit it with a stick even more. I learned from my mom and pa. They're violent mice, those two. You told me to hit a bird with a stick.
How well
It was
did that
working
work for you?
until you guards showed up and did whatever things. Attempts to look very stern and dramatically does not succeed.
Just trying to help.
You're probably right. I mean, you probably just yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since you're such a tough fighter, I expect you to be joining the Mouseguard.
Oh, it'd be great
no,
to have you
no,
on there.
that's not for me.
Oh, since your ma and
no.
pa taught you to be such a brave fighter.
Simple merchant life is all I need. I could use your help with getting that cob back on the cart.
Well,
Yes, we can help with that.
in the very least.
It's the least
probably.
you could do.
Well, I mean, the least we could do is probably walk off and leave you here. Least we could do is probably not help when the giant bird was trying to eat your face.
He's
He looked
not
a
wrong.
little-
He's out of
Well,
line, but he's not wrong.
The least we could do is not be out here trying to protect people like you in the first place.
Okay, I think he gets it.
No,
I think-
maybe he doesn't get it.
Do you know what?
Go on, Trevor. Continue.
Well, I'm not doing anything rude, am I? I'm just trying to.
fanning the flame.
No, Cinnamon
It's-
likes that.
But it's just. But I mean, it's the least you can do. But if it's literally the least you can do, then there's no more. There's no less that you can do. So, what is it like? Least you could do.
Well, I guess
I
we
could be
could
getting
always
fat on
This
corn of my own.
mouse, whose name is literally Walmond,
Walmond.
has never been more confused.
I suppose we could resupply our rations since we went out of our way to save your life.
Oh yeah, just the corn that's fallen off the cob.
Oh yeah. It's no good.
you're
You
not-
can't sell it off.
Oh, there's nothing
off
I
the
can do
ground
about
anyway.
it.
Lily already has one, like partway to the mouth.
Hey, this
Go to
is pretty
smack
quick.
it out of your paws and then stop himself and mumble, "Do more than highway robbery this."
I mean,
That's a
the
weird way
house-
of saying you're welcome.
Thank
it's a
you.
weird way.
Oh, thank you. I always get those two mixed up.
We're welcome to do what? For
Yeah.
corn?
For corn,
Where are you going?
we're going to
I know
Maple
it.
Harbor.
No, we're in a hurry right now.
Oh, Wallman perks up a little bit at that. What for?
We got to take a
I'm
boat.
far from Maple Harbor. This corn came fresh off a ship.
From where?
Maple Harbor.
Where did it come off a ship from?
How places.
You don't know where your corn's from.
No.
Don't know where your corn's from or what
kind of
preservatives have been used.
pres-
Could be from the weasels. Could be poison.
Okay,
What's that,
do,
Doc?
do you know where your corn came from? No, I don't
The back of
think
this.
so.
No, the back of your cart.
No, I'm out of character. But in
Yeah,
character, that
whack.
is
Thank
the
you very
best
much.
answer.
Mine came from a local place. I picked it up at the root cellar.
Very nice, very nice.
It was
All
6
right.
years for $3. I was pretty down for that.
That's
I too have
not bad.
purchased corn recently.
Now I want corn.
So do I.
Oh,
Luckily, we all have corn.
I don't.
Mhm.
I do at my mom's house, and I'm not there.
I don't think I have it here either.
You should-
Cripes, y'all.
All right, so we're gonna heave and
so-
hoe and
You-
put the corn
Okay,
back on the
good. You
cart.
help
Yeah.
get it on, and Walmond will sort of change his disposition towards you a little bit. Gonna give you some hints, Lily, on the route to get there, because of course there's been some floods, and advise you to keep an eye on the weather. And looks up
Always.
at the hawk that's sitting up there in the tree, staring down at all of you, and an eye on the sky.
He'll be full up in no time.
I think basically with that exact timing, the remnants of the cloak will slowly billow down from the tree, already empty of corn.
Hooray!
With holes in it and
Oh
in
yeah,
tatters.
it's completely ruined.
It's a holy cloak now.
Another squawk from above as it flies off, but it flies off in the direction you're going.
Any advice on the way to that place? I definitely know where we're going.
Maple Harbor.
Maple
That's it.
Harbor, stay on the road.
So the roads have already been established. Well, that's good.
Oh, thanks for the.
I, mean,
I feel like we're
it's
being
ideally
followed.
the same road every year, but never quite. I feel like we're being followed.
I think we're being
By
followed
who?
I don't know. They seem sophisticated.
I
Very.
feel like I need to be looking at a
So
stream
fixes.
thing here.
Well, the stream's right there.
Oh, it's so fixed.
Who just
Welcome,
streams?
so fixed.
You
It's
just
so
gotta
good to
follow
see
the
you
stream.
here.
Who said that?
This is Manon VR face. Hi. Sorry, a bunch of sweet beans. All right. So y'all successfully chased off, well, bribed off a hawk, and continue on your little mousy adventure journey. It's a couple more days hopping through the wilderness down this path. You encounter very, very few mice out here. But there are a few other traders following this route towards, Lockhaven and bringing food and supplies in to start stocking up for the summer. What wises do all of you have?
Predator.
Predator.
Predator?
Maybe alien wise. I don't know.
Oh.
Nightwise and
Nightwise.
Starwise.
Oh, wow. That's a really
Well,
fun
that's right. You
combination.
get two.
He's a navigator and a
Because he's
boater,
old.
and he's old.
Yeah.
So
you got war
he's good at night.
wrinkles.
He's good at night, and he can read the stars for when we're
Night mouse. Ah!
Fighter
Champion
of
of
the
the-
day mouse.
Actually, Daymouse is my nemesis.
Right, of course. Lily, what wises do you have?
Legends of the
Hey.
Guard.
Okay, good. Yes, I was gonna say you're a tender paw. I think you have to have Legends of the Guard.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, awesome.
Hi.
Well, carrying on to open.
Don't
to a
damn
specific
it,
Really?
Kelly, not one
Really?
corn.
You're not
Oh, the
sharing?
worst.
Kelly?
Oh wait,
Hey, have some corn.
I've got popcorn. Does that count?
All right, it's
That's
the
only
same
I
thing.
got here.
I think so. I think it counts. Yeah.
Traz is going to be eating out of a can of corn in a second.
Yeah.
Of course, too
Just
much
got
room to
these
go get.
walnuts.
So as you start progressing through down this path a little bit here, let's do another pathfinding roll. It's going to be DC 3 again.
I'll help.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll help too. Remind Lily, make sure to pay attention this time.
I actually, Trevor, if you could take the lead on this one,
Sure.
and show
Oh,
Lily how it's done, maybe.
Nice, so Lily, what you gotta do
Sure.
is you gotta get out there and you gotta look for the right side of the path there. So once you're on the right side of the path, then you need to know what the wrong side of the path is, which is not always the left side of the path, but sometimes the left side of the path, because the right side is not always the right side, eh?
Uh-huh.
Right. of
He's
course, of
saying to
course.
find your bearings. Well,
Yeah. And if you see any berries, you definitely want to bring them with you.
find your
Mhm, of
bearings and
course, of
find your
course, of
berries.
course.
What
This
is he
is-
talking about now?
So is
Oh, don't
I guess
worry
is
about
Trevor
it. Rufus.
rolling or is Lily rolling then? Who's taking the lead and who's
Oh,
assisting?
what's your Pathfinder, Kelly?
What?
Wow. Mine is Cat, but I'm happy to help for rolling
Mhm.
purposes.
Whatever
Sure.
works for y'all narrative wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one from Rufus and one from Lily.
Okay, it sounds good. So you have a pool of 5, and you can always choose to give me some fancy pantsy stuff. Give yourself a -1 to get a check later when you have a player's turn, or you can spend them
Yeah.
to get rid of conditions and stuff.
I'll take a -1 now for a +1 later.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
1, 2, 5, 6.
2, 5, 6. So that's 2 successes, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So then I think. Ooh, hang on. In my list here. Do you have like dramatic weather sounds? Let's do it.
Oh no.
I'm going to introduce a twist, a very good on setting twist here.
I have a special kind of corn, of the popped variety.
Me
Ah,
too.
so fancy. One of the newest mice inventions, miniaturized popping corn. So
No, it's
fancy.
regular sized popcorn. It's just like they just do one at a time and just eat little bits.
Right,
of
of course, of course.
I have a
Just think of
question.
The one,
Is it-
the one massive kernel?
Is it dark and stormy?
Yes, because I think clouds are going to roll in quite dramatically.
I've got weather.
The cinnamon.
watcher.
One
Will
one
that
evening,
help?
you actually. Oh yes, absolutely. So you'll get a bit more warning than others. Now I'll let that be beneficial shortly here. But one evening, as you're setting up camp, you notice that the stars disappear quite suddenly. pretty sure that hawk isn't above you right now. So there must be a pretty significant storm coming. And by morning, you are proven right. A heavy storm is unleashing itself upon the terrain here. Also, we should switch our backgrounds to cute outdoorsy stuff. I should have said this earlier. Hang on.
Hide under my.
Cute outdoorsy backgrounds. Can have cool moss. I just like moss. Moss is great. All right. So weather is actually a twist in this system because you're a mouse. Rain is really quite a significant challenge to navigate through. It's not scaled down for you. It is full-sized rain, and droplets are like impacting you with quite a significant amount of force. This actually makes it so it's almost impossible to use a bow and arrow in the rain in this way. This is a random fun fact I read earlier today, and I was like, wow, interesting. Specifically useful if I wanted to use that. Dun, dun, dun. So the rain is pouring down and pouring down and pouring down, but you have to keep going. Luckily, you're on mounts at this point, although your hairs don't like this any more than you do. And you figure you're probably only maybe a day, maybe two, depending on ride and weather. Probably a day and a half from Maple Harbor. You're getting quite close at this point. However, traveling in this rain, if you choose to do so, will require a test. So you can either camp somewhere safe until it passes by, or power on through the rain. What do you choose to do? Oh, you're muted, Lily.
Maybe we should make camp.
Cinnamon's gonna refer to the. Well, why don't we make camp and we discuss our team name?
Good idea.
Are you sure about that? Because if we're not going to be traveling in the rain, then other things aren't going to be traveling as well, which means that they won't be traveling when we should be.
Well, that's a good point. All right, Hans who wants to trudge onward. Trevor, you want to trudge onward through the rain?
No, not really. I'm just.
Well, there we have it.
You just
For making
suggested
camp.
it just in case.
I'm happy to do whatever you think you should do. You're the commander. I'm just the bugaboo wrangler who's eating corn.
No.
Hi, Rufus.
I'm good for camping.
All right, I'll make sure the hares don't get sick in the rain.
Okay, it sounds good. So where do you choose to set up camp here?
Kind of like, you know, those hard fungus by trees.
So what happened? We did something and then it froze up. What did we do?
I think we
frosting
were
early this
hiding
year.
under cool mushrooms to avoid the rain, but I'm not sure how
Yes.
much of that went to stream before we got cut off
Oh.
by the nefariousness of the internet in Canada.
Mhm.
Dun. The true villain of every Mouseguard campaign is Canadian internet.
It's just Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah,
Canadian monopolies.
yeah, absolutely.
Government regulated.
So, I guess a small recap. The last thing you heard was Cinnamon saying trees. Oh, okay. So I think I know where y'all were then.
Yep.
So it sounds like before we went on an unfortunate and unintended break, the party here, our little like mouse patrol, had decided to not venture out into the super heavy rain and thunderstorm and all of that stuff, and instead to camp out maybe under some of those like chicken of the wood mushrooms on the side of a tree. Set up a cute little camp and watch the storm go by.
Are the rabbits stuck out in the rain, or can they fit?
You'd probably have to find some way to shelter them, or perhaps they will find their own shelter and then you hope return to you.
I would definitely help if there's like ferns or something that she can like bend to make like a little hutch.
I can probably
Okay,
sew some
yeah.
stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think y'all have enough time. You can put a little bit of stuff together to try to cover the hairs, and they seem somewhat appreciative of it. So that
Well, we
is
have
good.
to
They
cover
will
our hair.
not-
We don't want to get our hair wet.
Of course, not in a rainstorm like this.
Mhm.
And so one of you was weatherwise, right?
Or no, weather?
Is
No.
that-
Weather
I
wa-
have
uh,
Weather
Weather
Watcher,
Watcher.
but I don't
Weather
have...
Watcher, right? Sorry, that's the one. So you're a weather watcher. I think you could roll that if you wanted to sort of get an idea for how long the storm will last and stuff like that.
Anyone
It
else
did surprise
have...
you. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Anyone else have Weather Watcher that wants to give
Sadly, I
Cinnamon?
do not have it.
No one.
This is why you're the leader.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you know what I should do? Is I should make y'all roll survival instead.
I'll roll
But
survival.
I can do
I
that.
feel like the
Should we roll the weather watcher and then?
let's do that, and then we'll use that to give you information. This is probably violating mechanics, but oh well. And then we'll do survival just for how well your camp set up and all of that stuff
Okay,
goes.
so
for
do I know what
surviving
the
it,
target
trying to-
is?
It's pretty easy. It's gonna be like a 2
Okay, then I'm going to take a hit.
for someone skilled. So I think it's 2. You're gonna take a hit. Okay, it
I'll
sounds
take
good.
away a
So
die
mark
now
down
to
that
add a
you
die
have a
later.
check. Brilliant. It's interesting because you're not even necessarily adding a die later. You're adding a resource. This game has a lot of resources.
Right, a resource.
You're adding one that you can use to like initiate your own tests later on, or to get rid of conditions and stuff like that.
Oh, that's what I'm
Like
doing.
Lily
here.
might want to do this to get rid of hungry and thirsty because you're just still kind of frazzled.
Okay, I can use my
But also,
check to
I
do
may
that?
I may clear that if the survival check goes well. So
Okay, 1, a 5, and a 5.
okay, well that sounds great. So you're pretty confident that this will clear up in a couple of days. It's a significant storm. It really came out of nowhere, but it can't last much longer than that. You're pretty darn sure. There's a lot of water coming down right now, though. And then so for survival, who's taking the lead on that one?
I mean,
Which
I will if
side?
nobody else will.
Yes.
What's
Sure.
I'm throwing around 4 points of it, so
Hell yeah.
Sounds pretty
I'm sure-
fancy. Is anyone
Oh,
helping
I'll
you out with
assist.
all right, there's an assistant dice. Anybody else?
Unless I
so-
can help with science. No.
All right, here we go. I got a 4 and a 6.
Okay, awesome. I should have given you the difficulty before. I forgot to, but it was a 2, so you're good on this one, actually.
Hey!
And I will say that this is enough time and rest. I'm not going to give you a player turn here because this doesn't quite feel like a point of safety.
Mhm.
But I will allow you to recover 1 level of a condition. So you're no longer terribly tired because you're just sort of sitting here watching the rain, the thunder overhead. So
And there's
that's
plenty of
pretty-
mushrooms to
pretty
eat.
nice. Yeah, plenty of mushrooms to eat. Lots of snackums here. You probably don't want to eat the mushrooms too much because they're your house, but like, that's the
They're
forever
from the
challenge
other
of being a mouse.
around the side of the tree. Well,
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do for these couple of days while you're waiting here in the rain?
So about that team name, Mouse Cute Ears was cut off, so I'm open to suggestions.
Hmm.
the Pathfinders. The Cobbs.
I like
I
that one.
just want corn.
The
Do
Cobbs?
you have any more corn?
I ran out of corn yesterday, but
One
oh, you have
giant-
corn. What?
Just
how do
one
you have-
giant piece out of her backpack that is somehow
Oh,
still
wonderful.
full. I just a one.
Kernels of truth.
Corn gobblers.
Corn
No, don't do the
Gobblers.
same.
I like the kernels of. I like the,
the
kernels, of truth.
Yeah, that has a nice ring to it.
Oh,
That's
I
pretty
love-
cute, actually.
Okay.
I mean, am I the one that has to say it? It sounds a little corny.
Oh, it's extremely corny.
It's supposed to sound corny.
Okay.
Corny's good, right?
The nebulous voice of space and time shrugs. Sure, I guess. So what is your group name then? We should mark this down in
The
that,
Kernels
that
of
shared
Truth.
file we have. The Kernels of Truth. I think it's adorable.
Cinnamon puts his hand in. So let it be the kernels of truth.
Lily
Rufus puts his hand
immediately
in.
does.
Trevor, you thought of it.
Oh,
Team.
well, yeah, I'm in, obviously. Pause in.
Y'all
Pause
are
in.
adorable.
Cobbs and Roberts.
All right. Pause in, and as you pause,
Austin Roberts.
there's a break in the weather. It looks like it started to clear after a couple of days have passed.
Hooray.
You can continue on your merry, mousy little way.
All right. And we're a
Oh,
few
I
days
think-
away.
Navigation
From
is okay.
Maple
Yeah,
Harbor.
you're a couple of days away from Maple Harbor.
Oh,
You
everything
can
loaded
head
back
over
up.
in that direction.
Trevor, you got your beetle buddy?
I've got Bailey with me. It's no problem at all. She'll be doing fine.
How is Bailey in the rain?
Oh, she's well. I mean, she's a snuggler. She was as snug as a bug in a rug.
Aw, so cute.
Speaking of which, I brought a rug with me.
Yeah, for the bug, of course.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
one does. Gotta be prepared. Bugs gotta have like a little sweater on them and everything. That sounds adorable.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know how
All right.
people like dye their dogs like hair with like safe like colors?
Yeah.
Do people like do the mice paint beetles and
Yeah,
insects
absolutely.
and stuff?
Sure.
100%.
Why not? Yeah. That seems really cute. You can draw like big fake spectacles on them.
what does
go
Bailey
very
look
silly.
like? I'm curious.
It's a blue beetle,
Like a shiny
Nah.
one.
shiny blue. Yeah. We're talking like,
Especially
Like,
shiny now because of the rain.
yeah, really like very, very like, yeah. I'm thinking like racing stripes and like
Color.
shiny cobalt blue.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nah, that sounds really cute.
It's a courier beetle or
Yeah, well, it's more of a dog.
it's more of a
More of a
dag?
dag.
There are courier beetles, but they often use dragonflies, especially in the early spring when the weather's still a little bit cold to send messages around. Because they're pretty clever. Like they can kind of communicate a little bit. You can give them directions and things, and if you are pretty familiar with insects, you can kind of communicate a little bit. It's like you have a dog that like understands you a little bit more than your average dog.
All right.
Like my dag.
Once we're all
Dogs
geared
that
up,
can speak with the
Absolutely.
push buttons.
All right,
those are
Time
Janus
check.
dags.
we still have
These
2
days.
hours, right?
You still have you have an
Hour and a
hour
half.
and 54 minutes.
Okay, brilliant. Then I think we can do most of the various things I had on the flowchart. Brilliant.
I think so.
So
Let me double
continuing
check.
down,
This
Hour and a
one ended
half?
at 6:30.
we can always
Yeah, we
cut
end at
stuff out more if
6:30.
we need to.
You've got an hour and 24 minutes. Wow, that
Hour
last
and
half
24
hour just went by
minutes.
quick.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
did.
really did. I guess we got interrupted, all sorts of chaos. And so we'll power through. Something that's really quite nice about this is how like plug and play it is, because my role is to like put things in front of you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I have to put everything in front of you that I have prepared to put in front of you. We can plot and scheme a little bit and just sort of go through with stuff and
Mouse
see how it goes.
schemes.
Mouse schemes, yes indeed.
Also-
I do kind of want to. Yeah, I'm going to skip a couple of potential obstacles here. So you carry on down the path and head towards Maple Harbor. As you approach there, you'll see the small, very very low wall of this settlement. I don't know that it counts as a city at this point. Behind that wall, you can see the spire of the 3 or 4 story tall, goodness gracious building that's back there. Who knows what that is? But there is some sort of tower building out there. Are any of you from here? Or from a nearby town, if you look at the map?
I'm
Oh.
from Spruce Tuck.
Oh yeah, so am I.
Spruce Luck? Spruce Tuck. Spruce Tuck.
That's why you're such
Whichever-
nerds. The
Whichever it
science
is, that's
town.
where I'm from as well.
Mhm.
I'm actually Lock Haven's actually my hometown.
Oh, nice. So you're like a guard's guard.
So wait,
And
if
where
you
are
said
you
you're
from,
from here in the
Rufus?
first place, then why didn't you bring us back here?
Oh, wait,
is
Rufus
this
is-
place-
No, Rufus is from
Lockhaven.
Lockhaven.
Yeah, okay. So none of you
Ah.
are from here. I just wanted to check in case one of you knew what the
Cinnamon's from Port Sumac in the north, so he knows the northern
Right,
sea,
okay.
but he doesn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the southern.
Well, that's good. That means you can bring us back.
reportedly. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So as you approach, you'll see I guess a ditch, but for you it's a pretty significant stream, where it looks like it has flooded in the rains, and the wooden bridge across it is actually out. It's a small little collection of mice you can see on the other side, and some of them on this side of it as well, who are wearing a little like, it's not quite a cloak, but they have like a little front shawl thing with like a symbol on it, which looks like a picture of a low wall and that small tower that you can see over the wall on it. So they must be some sort of like town functionaries, running around with like wood and bits and things, and clearly trying to rebuild the bridge. As you approach, one of them will wave at you and say, "Ho there."
Whoa. Greetings. Looks like you're a bit under the weather.
You could say that, she says. Rona, she extends a little paw. To get a
That's-
closer look at them, they look a lot more rough and tumble as a group than you would have anticipated for like fancy town functionaries.
Cinnamon. And he steps off the hair and takes her paw.
Ah, very cute name, she says. So
It strikes fear in the heart of my enemies, I assure you.
we're a little indisposed. You can go around a little bit further upstream. It takes, at least a couple of hours to a safe spot. Or you could help us if you're not too busy, guards.
Oh, it looks like you've got all the supplies. I think it's worth our time to give you a hand. It's
All right.
important for all of us to get these bridges back up.
Smooths out for a little bit. That's right. It's the road between towns. It's not technically inside. Perhaps it's your responsibility, anyways. Thank you.
That's
I
right.
really appreciate it. Here, do you want to help take over on this side? These two are kind of incompetent, and she gestures at the two other mouse that are with her on this side. One of them's like, I'm not sure what a bridge looks like, but I bet it's got more sticks in it than I know what to do with.
I like the way he thinks.
He's not wrong.
So if y'all are going to assist on this stuff, I think you're sort of taking over the bridge construction on this side. And this will be a laborer task. And this is probably going to take, a couple of days. It's not a huge, significant, fancy bridge. It's like a really basic bunch of sticks. But it's good enough for mice, and they can build it up later if they need to. But so you can spend a couple of days doing really nice assistant labor stuff for this little town. That's very sweet of y'all. So he's
Ooh, a
taking the
couple
lead
of
for labor
days,
tasks.
eh?
Yeah.
Off
Or
to
you
the
could
side.
take just a
Off to
couple
the
of hours
side.
and go around.
Off to the side. he
I will say you
addresses
can make your decision now in full context, knowing this will take a couple of days if you stay to
he
repair.
turns to his team and he's like, hey, maybe we don't have a couple of days to spare.
We already lost some time due to the storm.
Looks like we're gonna have to ride on, maybe.
I might be
Maybe
able to
go-
give them a little extra direction.
Bunny DM,
Mhm.
those like resources that we had, like from taking away a die, how would that work? Is that to avoid a complication
They'll
you
come out
present?
on a player turn. Although you can also spend them on my turn, which is what's happening right now, where it plays more like D&D.
Right.
And in that you can spend them to remove conditions or tests to remove conditions and stuff.
Recovery during.
Gotcha.
Yeah. When there's a player turn in a moment, it's sort of the moment where you all take initiatives. You decide your own tests, decide you're going to go and do this thing, you're going to do this thing, et cetera, et cetera. So we may suspiciously get there very soon, as it is happening on your turn.
All right, he's gonna have to say, I promised to help, but or I offered to help, but a couple of days is a couple of days that we're gonna be falling behind orders. But we can stay for an hour or so, and my what's it called? Charge? Apprentice?
You're my mentor,
Tenderpaw?
so my tender paw, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tenderpaw here knows a thing or two about bridges and bridging and waterways,
Okay.
so we could stay for enough time to give you some insight.
She seems a little crestfallen, but curious. Why don't we still do that laborer test here? And we'll instead of supporting with it, you're sort of doing the over the shoulder management for a little bit and giving them some pointers and stuff, and we'll see how well it goes.
Wonderful. Did anybody want to help me? Maybe move some wood between places?
Do we need
Yeah,
that?
or
skill
even
to
like
help?
direct people or yeah.
Do you
Like-
have to have laborer to help?
I think you need the skill to help with it.
I will say in this case, probably,
I-
but if you can justify something else, I'm cool with it.
Well,
Maybe she'll
Then
see
I'm-
the coach.
You sort of have to explain narratively why you would help.
Oh, Cinnamon has instructor.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's quite helpful. You can help Lily to communicate in an instructive and clear way to a whole bunch of folks who are not used to being talked to by a much younger mouse. This sounds great. And Rufus, it looks like you've got a paw up too.
Yeah, considering I'm skilled in various trades, I can offer like some tools to make the job maybe a little bit easier for them. Show them how to use them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So take a +2 for this for sure, Lily.
Okay. What's my difficulty?
It's gonna be difficulty 2. It's not a complicated project.
Ooh,
They just
it's
don't
only
have the skill.
one.
It's only 1. Do you have a reroll?
I don't.
I feel like one was given. Perhaps it could be traded out.
I
or-
think I had gotten 2.
One was
Yes.
for Cinnamon and one was for Kelly.
Oh, that's what it was.
Right.
You know
okay,
what?
okay.
Yeah.
You
You
can,
can
have,
also spend some of the points on your sheet as well. So your fate.
Oh, I can
wait,
use
hang
that.
on. Of course, or you can tap major. Yeah. So you could use your persona point to reroll one of those die.
Okay, yeah, sure. I will do that.
Okay, sounds good. We should also talk about using nature and stuff instead for tests like this, but you haven't done too many tests that I feel like
I think
make the most sense to be. Okay,
2.
brilliant. Yes. All right, so then you pull it off. So take that persona point off your sheet. You have spent it nefariously to do cool persona things. I hear good things
Persona.
about that game series. I gotta play it one of these days.
one of these days.
And they honestly seem really quite grateful of your help. Cinnamon, Rona's going to give you like her little collar tabard thing and say,
Oh.
hey, give this to the mayor and tell her that we really appreciated your support.
Oh, that I will. Thank you.
Good luck crossing the stream up there. It's a bit haggard. All right, you two,
And-
like the short one said.
Back on the hares we go.
hmm You can hop off across it. The hares have some difficulty with it, but they can get across just fine. You could have gotten across here. They just don't want to. And eventually you find yourselves on the other side of that river, Rhoda waving excitedly across at you. And outside the somewhat haggard looking gates of Maple Harbor. It really feels that they're trying to step up their game with presentation this year, but they don't really have the infrastructure to support it.
Are the gates closed?
It's a scummy little town. The gate is open.
All right.
Inside, you can see a few pretty haggard-looking buildings, and then it looks like at the far end there's that tower, and then a whole bunch of like stairs or something going down the edge of a cliff. So you walk through a few, like guards mice, but not your type of guards mice, town guard mice, and other mice sort of move out of your way, and seeing the Mouseguard here is a bit of a to do for this town, it seems like. So you have a lot of people coming out to clearly just look at you as you walk through. They don't impede your progress or anything like that. You simply walked into a small town as a whole bunch of like military police officers, basically.
Lily starts by like being really excited and like kind of waving at everyone that looks, but as soon as there's gets to be like more people, she starts to like kind of hide
There's
behind
lots of mice.
everybody.
I mean, there's probably like 300 mice here, which is like not huge, but also like a lot.
But like, and a lot of people paying attention to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're certainly not all paying attention to you at once, but there's probably like 50 or so mice that are like investigating your little mouse shenanigans as you're walking across town. You will be
Trying to
led
fix the
to
ripped road.
that tower, actually, as you approach. And outside waiting to meet you is an extremely nerdy looking mouse who has a couple of dragonflies around her, and she's petting one of them. She's wearing a little vest and she's got spectacles, and she is very, very gray of fur and quite old for a mouse, you figure. She turns and looks at you with sort of like a bit of a dour expression, and then Trevor sees your bug and she lights up like the stars. Oh my goodness, what is her name? She says, ignoring all of you and walking up to the beetle.
Oh, this is Bailey. Say hello,
Oh,
Bailey.
She is so pretty. Oh, I'm just gonna like pat and do all of the stuff to the beetle.
Oh yeah, she loves pets. Oh, watch this one. Spin in a circle. Spin in a circle. Oh, there she goes. Oh, look
She's
at that.
a little delighted clap.
That took quite a while.
So what brings the guards mouse through our little town?
We're here to take a boat.
Oh,
Well, I suppose we should be asking a little, give you a little more info. I'm Cinnamon, the patrol guard. Well, patrol leader, I suppose, for now.
of course, of course.
And me and my mice here, we're told that we've lost contact with Lily Grove.
Oh, yes. They don't come back. We send the dragonflies. This one lost a sister. Such a pretty bug. The dragonfly seems to nuzzle it up against her.
Well, sorry to hear that.
We
Well,
let
looks like-
your matriarch know. And hopefully something will be done. Is that what you are here to do?
I that we are.
Do you have... What is that with you? Is that a tabard? Just for little spectacles?
Sorry,
Where
was
did you
that?
get that?
Get what?
The little tabard Rona handed you.
Oh. Yes, there was a lovely lady by the name of Rona that had some trouble with the bridge just outside.
Oh, yes. It fell over.
And she told me as a gesture, since we stopped and gave them a hand, to, well, show you this medallion here.
Wow. What a strapping young group of guards might you seem to be. April Harbor is at your needs. We're happy to assist you. A boat may be difficult, but I will see what I can do. But please, rest and recuperate and care for yourselves. I'm sure you've had a dangerous time on the road, and she will pinch your cheek, Cinnamon.
Cinnamon's 40.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. This mouse is
But she's-
ancient.
Okay.
She probably can't really see you very clearly.
Hmm. And sorry, you were the mayor around here?
Mayor Maribel.
Oh, Maribel? Well,
Air
until we
bell.
make our leave and till we can possibly procure a boat, you have our services.
So wonderful. So she will set off with her little bundle of advisors. The advisors, again, basically look like pirates. But they seem to be like very, very friendly to her, and they're getting along pretty well. And
I mean, Cinnamon kind of looks like a
head down
pirate
towards
itself. So.
towards the dock. Yeah, exactly. Also, while you're here, you get a better look at this settlement. It's quite a beautiful spot, actually. They have a little crescent-shaped fort on the top of a cliff that must be a whole meter tall, and a whole bunch of, like rope bridges and all of that stuff going down below to a thriving dockyard. They have a winch system even to bring cargo up here. And it looks like there's even more corn that has come in on a couple of ships. Takes up most of the ship, but it's like a whole piece of corn. A thriving and bustling harbor going on down there. So this is a moment where y'all actually get to rest for a little bit and take the initiative. So this is a player turn because y'all have safety and rest and all of that stuff here. So the checks that you have can actually be spent now if you want to. You get one free one right now. And I also want to give all of you a persona point because I think you've all been acting your beliefs pretty delightfully. So please take a persona point as well. So what you can do with those checks, I think it's listed a little bit on your sheet stuff here. So when it says one test during player's turn costs one check, that means you can choose to basically use one of your skills. So you can decide, you want to go hang out with the bugs here and do some cool insectress stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a test on that and give you a chance to advance that skill a little bit more.
Let's do
under
it.
your own initiative and stuff like that. So
Let's
let's go
play
for
with some
each of y'all. Is that what you want to do, Trevor?
Yeah.
There's a pretty significant insectress community here. This is a like major communication hub for the south.
Let's do it.
Yeah, every couple of hours a dragonfly flies in and out, and that's a lot of traffic for mice. All right, so let's roll your insectress here. Are you going to help Maribel out with like bug keeping stuff? She's got a small staff, but she could certainly use the help. Or are you just going to sort of go hang out with the cool bugs that are looming around and like see if you can befriend them solo style?
A little bit of both, actually. I think probably. Does the mayor look like she needs any help? Mayor, do you need any help with anything insectoid?
Oh no, I couldn't ask. I couldn't ask at all. But if you're offering,
I mean, you couldn't ask, but then you did. So why don't we go take care of that then?
Yes. Yeah, there's lots of ways that you can help. especially because it's, early springs with a lot of messages coming through from Lockhaven and elsewhere as all of the towns are sort of reestablishing communication. It's quite difficult to communicate over the winter because, very few bugs are still active except for the occasional dragonfly. But most of them don't really do much until now. So there's a huge flurry of sending messages all over the place and reestablishing diplomacy, basically, after the last 4 months.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'll go help.
All right, so roll Insectrist.
Do I just roll flat?
Mm-hmm. And
What?
mark down whether or not you pass or fail. And also for all of those other challenges, if you remember them, make sure you were marking down passes and fails before.
Sounds good. I got a pass on.
So this is a
Insectress.
DC2. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to spend my reroll.
Sure, sounds good.
I did not succeed.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's still a really, really good lesson for you here, right? So mark down the failure. But that doesn't mean that you like screw up or something bad happens. You hang out with cool bugs all day. You don't learn too much that you didn't know already. And the stuff that you do learn is not quite, made sense to you yet. Something about this specific type of dragonfly, you have to feed them differently. You have to give them a different mix of the nectar stuff, but it's not really clear to you at this point. And at the end of the day, they don't eat what you give them. But it's still a learning experience, and you do get to hang out with a whole bunch more really, really cool bugs. So you
That's
did a
true.
-1 earlier, right? So you have another check you can spend if you want to.
Sure. I want to learn. I'm going to go see if they can tell me more about like animals on the sea so that I can learn more about lore mouse.
Sure. Yeah, go for it. That sounds good to me.
I got one. It's probably
Okay.
not enough.
So on this one, I'm going to say, yeah, that you're in a really easy spot to learn some new stuff about animals that you've never seen before. I should always tell you the difficulty before you roll. I always keep forgetting to do so. I'm not used to it yet.
Oh, sure.
But for this one, I mean, I am going to give you a pass on that because you're going to
Yay.
learn about a whole set of new creatures, which is crabs and snails, which will kill you.
Crabs.
Snails are
Will-
weird, but some of them are apparently dangerous. And crabs are basically the worst creature that has ever existed as far as these mice are concerned.
Well, how do you fight them if they're made of armor?
You don't. You run. They will snatch you from the beach. That's why we're on a
Oh.
cliff.
You don't want to fight a crab. Run.
How'd you get here?
Ah,
Just appeared. The knowledge of crabs. You'll learn a
he's
little bit
sitting in
about
a
them, though,
corner,
right?
like
So-
smoking a pipe in like the dark. Candlelight
Like, covered
flickers,
his
and he's like,
hands over.
"Oh, how do you think I lost my eye?
Crab attack.
Crab came out of nowhere."
Done.
I thought it was an infection that when you scratch yourself with your hind paw because of pink eye, but
As you do. All right. So you'll actually learn a little bit about how to fight a crab. Just you have to go underneath, and it's a really dangerous spot to go.
hey, you
Who
tip
else
them over.
has- Yeah, you can try to. They got so many legs, and each leg is a knife. So who else has some checks that they want to spend to do a roll under your own initiative?
So you said we all get one?
You get one for free.
Okay, then I want to use mine to go learn more smithing from this town. See if they have any new techniques I'm not familiar with.
Sure, absolutely. Smithing is not very big here, but there is a small smithy here that works primarily at the dock, doing infrastructure stuff for them. So you can probably learn some stuff from them, maybe some new bolts or bent metal
Yeah.
techniques. Help them out for part of a day if you want. It
Yeah,
will
I'll do
take them
that.
about a day to get you a ship, so you only have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'll help out the smithy then.
All right, so then I guess roll your smithy. Difficulty 2 on this one because it's quite like a challenging piece of work. You're not just talking to people.
Oh, I just
It's
lost.
not too challenging though because you're being instructed.
And what was it? 4, 5s, and 6s were successes?
Mhm.
I don't have one pass. I failed all of them.
Okay, awesome. So mark down the failure. This is still a learning experience, right?
Yeah.
It just means the stuff that you produce is unfortunately not useful. They'll put it back in the forge and make something else with it tomorrow. But thanks for coming out to assist, and they give you a big dramatic pat on the back. It clinks against your little bit of mail. All right, Cinnamon, what are you doing stuff? I should also say, if any of you 3, you can elevate a trait for the remainder of the session, and you can use your traits to give yourself bonus stuff as well. in certain
That's right.
circumstances.
All right. It looks maybe it's not in his position, but Rona kind of, you know, he feels bad about leaving her out there, and he's gonna go about the young mice of town lounging about, and he's gonna be like, "Hey,"
There are lots of sailor mice that are just sort of vibing.
and you know, he's got manipulator, and he's go up to them, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, make yourself useful instead of just drinking around or like waiting for the day to pass. Have you no shame? Come on, there's people out there trying to like build a bridge. You're gonna be outdone by you're gonna be outdone by just like 3 mice building a bridge. Come on, show some support for your community. Get out there." And I'm not asking.
Dun. All right. So let's roll manipulator. This is gonna be difficulty 3 because these guys do not want to go help build a bridge. They just sailed a boat here and delivered corn. They're tired.
Can I use the trait tough to help with
absolutely.
that intimidator?
Yeah.
Once per session, I can add a die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And go. 1, 3, and 5.
Okay, so that is not a success, but still mark down the failure for it. And it's a good lesson learned on how to manipulate ruffian mice. They will sort of scoff at you and go back to their game of very tiny dice. And some of them seem like, a little close to being convinced, but they go with the rest of their crew, and none of them go to help. Clearly, they're not guard material.
Oh, what can I say? I tried.
Yeah. I'm like, do I give you angry? No.
You know what? I'm a lot less intimidating ever since I lost my eye.
It's probably true. You don't have the death deception to stab someone anymore.
You gotta lift the eye and show it
Yeah,
off.
do it.
Oh.
Show nothing there.
Done. All right, Lemmy, you getting up to any stuff?
Yeah, I want to go see if they have like a archive and sort of check their histories with what I know and see if there's any stories I haven't heard.
Yeah, so Mayor Mirabelle has like a little bit of records from her time here. It's basically her settlement that she founded. And the little tower in the middle is the insect waypoint where they come to get snacks and send messages around. They've got a little bit of history stuff, but not a lot. You can certainly peruse it though.
Yeah.
Like really no more than you could read through in a day anyways. So
yeah,
the perfect amount of time to visit and read all of their notes.
Yeah, especially the ones from like places she's never been, and maybe about
absolutely.
Lily Grove as well.
Yep.
So archivist, and can I use inquisitive?
Totally.
Ooh, 1 success. So fail.
Yeah, unfortunately. I forgot to tell you again, I was busy eating poutine.
No, it's
but yes. so mark down the failure. You don't learn I have a giant bowl of it and I'm eating it very slowly. You don't learn too much new and exciting and stuff here. Like overall, you get the idea that this is a up and coming trading community. There really wasn't much here until a few seasons ago. And something has really taken off with trade in the area. There's no like information on why that might be, but there's suddenly an awful lot of ships here. So you know that the dock is quite new. I guess other stuff that you would learn that's not like super cool and exciting information is that there's like another waypoint for insects to stop at on the other side of the water for those that are flying across.
That isn't Lily Grove?
No, it's just like a little spot by the beach. It's like the equivalent of a lighthouse for a bug. But that's where all of these insects would be going, basically, if they're going to Lily Grove. All right. Anyone else have any checks and stuff they want to do? I think you have one more you can spend, don't you, Lily?
I think
you could do one more check if you want.
Took away a die at one point.
Yep. So you would have another one
so
too.
I'll go. Do you want to go me and then back to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. That sounds good to me.
Assuming that there's like a boat coming along or that we're going to be able to.
Yeah, they're requiring you a boat. You'll have it tomorrow.
Cinnamon is going to use his many years to gauge the weather about when the best day to depart would be.
Okay.
Rather
sounds
than
good,
just
sounds
blindly
good.
leaving as soon as they get the boat.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. So please roll me some weather watching.
All right. So I have natural bearings. Oh, what's the difficulty here?
Natural bearings. This is going to be a DC 2. It's pretty
Two?
standard issue.
I'll use. Actually, no. I'm just gonna roll my.
Okay,
weather
sounds
watcher.
good.
A bunch of 2s and 1 and a 6.
Okay, so anything 4 and above is a success. So if you have a 2 is 1, so you'd only have 1 success. So then you're not the most sure what the weather is going to look like. But you have a boat tomorrow, and you can mark down a failure.
Okay. Dang,
Start moving
we're not
towards
doing-
those advancements in the episode 2. Should we ever go there? All right, Lily. It sounded like you had something else you wanted to do too.
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of stick around like archives or whatever and try to get a map of the area and use cartographer and like copy out a map of the other side because I might not have
Okay.
that.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's give it a go.
Cool. And
So
can I use my
difficulty
inquisitive
2.
again because I have a level 2 in it.
Yes, totally.
Sorry, what was my
Trevor, you have level
2?
2 in generous. Nice. Just saw that.
He's
on your
very
sheet.
generous.
Good job.
Oh, 3.
Oh wow. Okay. Nice. So mark down success.
Yay.
Yeah. Do you think you've got a pretty accurate map as far as you can tell from their maps of the area and of where you're going?
Nice.
There's a couple of spots on there that it sounds like you should be avoiding for strategic not being eaten by crabs purposes.
Mhm.
But
Very
overall
important.
it should be
Very
mostly pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Awesome. See all good. You're turning it back over to a GM's turn. Dun.
All right, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. So dawn comes the next day. You've had a nice, pretty restful day here, and you are awoken by Rona. Surprisingly, got a ship for you.
Oh, this early.
Oh, you're not already awake yet. I've
Ah,
already got.
why are you in my? I,
You're all staying in it.
I suppose I deserve that.
Revenge is sweet. Bye.
But how long has he been? Was he in here when you
Well,
came?
Bailey's in bed with you. I was trying to go and get her out of there.
Beetle
Rolls
licking
over.
you excitedly. Wiggle.
Wait, do beetles have? Okay, I gotta Google
I
something.
have no idea. Doing
You know
a
what?
nuzzle at the very least. An
In
excited
this
little
world,
beetle
they
nuzzle.
do. They have
Sure,
tongue things.
why
They have
not?
tongues. They are the dogs of this world. They have to have tongues.
All right.
Rona,
So rushing through a little bit, she's gonna lead you down towards the docks and onto a boat. This boat is made from several leaves that have been stitched together.
all right. Well, thanks for pulling this together for us.
Lily is very
Do you
excited,
feel
very terrified.
safe navigating?
Oh, I haven't traveled in the Southern Sea yet, but I've grown up my whole life in the Northern Sea. The more dangerous sea. Well, up until recently.
Until the crab glares at the water.
Oh, and he's going to glare down at the water.
The moment
Too.
she says crabs, a whole bunch of various goons stop and look angrily at
Everybody
the water.
turns and spits.
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone's
Basically, yeah.
Oh, we
All
need to
right.
Oh,
say
spit on
goodbye
a
to...
run, run, everybody run.
Uh-oh.
We say
We need
goodbye
to,
to.
We need to say goodbye to Harry and Barry and send them back to Lockhaven.
No,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep, they've hung out in town in case you needed them. But you can send them away and maybe give them some leftover snacks if you have some.
Yeah, we give them a little like satchel neck carrier thing.
Yeah, awesome.
Or like
awesome.
the rescue Saint Bernard, like a little barrel.
Aw, cute. Like a little bundle of snacks
Oh.
for the other party. Cute. And they'll hop off. Like they go the long way back and towards the bypass in the stream because they still haven't quite finished this terrible bridge yet, but they're making reasonable progress at the time you leave, so that seems like a good sign. Perhaps by the time you're back, it will be fixed. And y'all set sail. Let's do a little bit of sail navigation. I think this would normally be DC4, but you have a pretty accurate map of the area, so I think I'm going to drop this down to a difficulty of 3. Who's navigating?
Not I.
Cinnamon? All right, sounds good. Who is assisting if you want to, and tell me how you assist.
Does anyone have cartographer, scout?
I have scout and cartographer.
I've got scout and
Okay.
survival.
Yeah, I got scout and survival too.
Okay, so all of you can very much assist for sure here. So you can definitely get a +200.
Oh,
Who
never
is
mind, I've got
assisting, though?
survivalist.
Just so I know who
Not scout.
to give negative things to should you require negative things.
All right.
Is it Rufus and Lilia that's helping you, Cinnamon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's
Sounds
going to
good to
be
me.
holding the maps up and checking the wind and
Standing
trying
on the
for the
bridge of
optimal-
your little leaf boat. It has a little like deck underneath and like the sleeping
that's
spots
nice.
down there. Like it's made of several leaves stitched together. It's a pretty like
he's
it's surprisingly leathery for a boat, but you're used to this.
little
Little keel
dandelion
of the
sail.
leaf.
What are we using
Oh,
for a
that
little
sounds
sail?
way too adorable. I think that the sails would be made out of leaves.
Yeah.
Very
The
cute.
dandelion would
Yeah.
carry us wherever the wind goes. That's not what we
That
want.
yes, exactly. You've got ropes and you can navigate and all of that stuff. It's a pretty
All right.
effective sailing ship. It's just made out of the materials at hand. And all right, let's see how this navigation goes.
All right. And now I'm going to use natural bearings trait to give me an extra die. I don't want
Okay,
to fail
sounds
this.
Please don't, or do and hit a crab.
Oh.
No.
And 2 sixes and 4, 5, 6s
So
are
4, 5, and
successes?
6 is a success. Yeah, you need 3 of them.
Nope.
If you have a
Uh,
6, you can use a fate point to reroll it.
Yes, exactly. If you have a 6 in there, you can use a fate point to reroll it.
Reroll
So it
the
explodes
whole thing?
basically. That's how you
Yeah,
like
just the
explode
six.
Or just
explode the
one die?
six.
Just the one die.
Oh.
Just the
Explodes
six.
like D10s, yeah, in
Mhm.
World of Darkness.
Use a fate.
And you
I
can
will.
use a persona point to reroll a non-6.
Oh, I will use a persona point.
Persona!
Persona. There, I'm down to 1.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so wish me luck.
Yeah, it feels kind of clunky, but like I
Oh,
feel
no,
like it's not
I
that
dig it.
clunky in play. There's just
Like a lot of things.
to track. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you
Got a
get it.
4.
Woo!
Yes.
nice,
4, 5, and
nice,
6.
nice. All right, you will successfully navigate the southern Mousy Seas, and you don't even get eaten by a crab, which was definitely like a very possible twist here.
I'd be no eye cinnamon.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess where are you going? Are you just going anywhere along the coast? Are you going to anywhere in particular? Lily, you know this that that waypoint for where bugs would go coming into the other side. And that's pretty close to Lily Grove. You might be able to go past it and try to go a little bit closer into the town, but there isn't really like a dock area there as far as you're aware. Lily Grove looks like it's probably in like a small little, mouse-sized valley. It's not super close to the coast.
Yeah, I guess those with better eyes, where anyone tell me with the best place to moor would be? Would this be
Feel
scout
like this
or
might just be, well, I mean, you can roll for it, but also you have like a pretty solid map of the area. I
Oh,
think you
that's
can
true.
just choose on
Okay,
the
we
map,
we
and
pull it
you've
somewhere
navigated pretty
secluded
successfully.
where we can kind of easily
Okay,
get away from.
that sounds good. So I'm just going to pull up a map here. I think you're going to pull in sort of if you see the map, and I wish I could show this to chat right now too, but there's like a little like Sticky Eddie Peninsula sort of by Lily Grove, and then like a wide harbor in there.
I see that.
Maybe if you come
yeah.
in the wide harbor in there, you'll be able to come into Lily Grove.
Perfect.
All right, and that's a pretty secluded spot, at least from the weather and stuff like that. So as you come in along the shore, you'll see that little way station where the insects stop on their way in and go past it, and then go land up on the beach. Moor the ship, tie it to a root sticking out into the water dramatically, and saunter yourselves ashore quite triumphantly. You successfully sailed a leaf boat across the sea without being eaten by crabs. I'm quite proud of you. So you estimate.
I have a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for crabs.
For crabs in particular, yes. Is the set of skills having one eye the crabs have already eaten, and therefore
Yes.
they will not be excited to eat you again, and they might eat someone else first.
There's like a ticking sound that Cinnamon wakes up to at night.
All you hear is the click.
Click, 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 click. Great. All right. So from here, you estimate that it's probably a day's journey to Lily Grove, but you will have to navigate here because you're off the path entirely. So please, please, please roll me a Pathfinder. We'll see if some nefarious obstacles come up in front of you here. Actually, I guess you're not on the path. Maybe this should be... I have to look up where Scout goes. Hang on, because maybe Scout is the more accurate role here.
Off-roading.
I don't think so. I think it's still Pathfinder, but... The Scout's for tracking.
Oh, okay. I was
Are
wondering
there any
what Scout
signs
was
of the
for.
insects?
Oh yeah. Because Trevor might be able to find I know they're mostly flying ones.
Well, you
but...
didn't. I guess you sort of bypassed the spot where they would come in on land on this side. Their little waypoint there. You could go to that. You could park near it and go waddle over there and take another day to go there before going into town. Maybe not even another day. I think you can get there pretty quick. I think you'd add half a day to your journey.
Yeah, well, I guess if we already have the maps for getting there, right, should be pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too.
Sure.
All right. Gosh, this book. There's so many things in this book, and I wish that I had a copy of it that had functional bookmarks to navigate, because sometimes navigating this book is not my favorite of experience. As cute as
it's difficult because it's like just a scan copy, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not I can copy text and stuff in here. It just doesn't have bookmarks for some reason. Yeah, this is the version from Drive Through RPG. Okay, right. So it's definitely still Pathfinder. Sorry, I had to double check on that one. Yeah. The Scout's almost always it's like your perception, your tracking. That's what Scout's for. It's always versus something. Who's Pathfinding?
Not me.
I can do it.
Not the best depth perception.
Oh, actually.
Okay.
I can help.
You've got good, right, Trevor?
Actually, I can help. I've got 3.
I got 3 too.
Okay.
I keep thinking it's Scout.
And Rufus. Okay.
It's 2.
What's my difficulty?
Pathfinder.
I will say your difficulty for this is 3. This is uncharted territory.
How many people can help?
Well, you have a map, but you don't. So there, it is charted, but there's no road on it.
Yeah, only 2
So
people.
2 people can
help, right?
assist.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we're assisting.
What if Trevor? Who are the tallest? Trevor and is it Rufus or Cinnamon?
Oh,
Cinnamon's not incredibly tall.
Trevor's hillbilly lanky.
Okay.
It's Trevor. Well, but Cinnamon can
Cute.
try to, climb a blade of grass and
Oh, can't hear.
Do a
anything,
little
one sec.
dramatic peek over. That sounds good. That sounds good.
My earbud keeps ripping out. Yeah. No. Yeah. I was gonna
You
say,
got too many ears. Happens.
I really do.
Yeah.
And not enough cord. Yeah. She'll get Trevor to try to look over things to see if she's going the right direction. That's a 6 and a 5, and I'm going to use my fate point because I have 6.
Okay. Sounds
So that's
good.
2 successes, and that's another
Fingers
6. So
crossed.
3 successes.
Brilliant. All right. So then you will quite safely navigate yourself towards Lily Grove.
Hooray.
I'm tempted to give you something here.
don't forget to mark a success on your.
Right.
Yes,
Pathfinder.
definitely don't forget to do that.
My first
So
success
on your way into town, I guess as you're navigating through here, you're not too far from that point. Like you could have walked down to roughly where you are from the insect waypoint and then into town. You see what looks like something else has been through here. Like something maybe your size, maybe more. But some animal has definitely come through this area pretty recently. There's no leftover tracks really. The rains would have washed it away, so it must have been before then. But there's definitely like disturbed brush and telltale signs of something coming through here that's perhaps bigger than a mouse.
Trevor,
Hmm.
do you recognize this?
It's bigger than a mouse.
I would say this many days out, it could be all sorts of things. But it's a bit of a like, there shouldn't be
Well, it's
many
not-
things too much larger than you.
Oh, is it lagging now? Is it doing the lag again? Oh, it's doing the thing again. Why? Why? Can you guys hear me?
I will
Hello.
continue to
Hey,
eat
Richard.
poutine.
So
Have we
sorry about
returned?
that. It's
Or
it's
dog.
I've
Very
returned. It's
forward
doing
dog.
that thing again. So I
Okay.
don't know what the hell is just the attempting to reconnect.
Yeah, I mean, something must be happening with your network, either locally or somewhere down the
Why
chain.
can't they hear me?
Could my modem be doing this?
Yeah, potentially, or your computer, or another computer on the network, or something between you and Shaw, or there's an unfortunately large amount of potential options for it.
Was it just this game, or was it doing it earlier?
No, it did.
It
It
was
started
doing it
doing
last
it
game
on
too. Yeah.
on Wednesday.
Oh, it was doing it Wednesday.
It did it during Spelljammer. Remember?
Oh my gosh, you're right. Yeah.
So
Maybe
I
you're-
don't know if it's news. What?
I'm just thinking. I guess, have you reset your modem recently? Like turned it on and off?
Yeah, I did that during Spelljammer.
Right, okay.
Okay, it looks like we're back up again.
Okay, brilliant.
Oh, James, check. He can't hear
Monsieur
anything.
Trazelta? Monsieur Trazelta?
Hello. Do we have
Trazelta?
drums?
Do we have tries? We are back on stream. Hello, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Bonjour, this should
Sorry
have
for
been the accent.
the technical network adventures today.
Network Adventures.
Network adventure.
Is that our
Guys,
party name?
Maybe it is
Adventures.
now, yeah.
Oh, I'm so warm.
Are we hopefully vaguely returned? Yes.
We're
Okay,
back
we're
on
just
the
waiting
stream.
for
yeah.
a Lily Loomis to appear. Brilliant. Yay. I'm happy to be back.
Hello.
Yeah, ever so it's a very, very slightly cursed stream, unfortunately. All right. Speaking of cursed streams, can you hear us yet, Traz?
Trazelta.
How's about now? Do we have you?
Bop, 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 ba dup. Oh, now it's doing the thing again. Come
Okay,
on,
you
man.
can hear us?
I think my
All right.
dog unplugged my speaker. I have to deal with
Oh,
that
no.
later. Dante was under my desk and things went quiet. I'm like, I can't hear anything.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of adorable, but also deeply unfortunate. Okay, we're back, and I think we have 40 minutes, right? So we should power through a little bit.
Yeah.
We should
Right.
power
I
through.
think we can get to pretty satisfying close of this in the 40 minutes that we have. Okay, so Lily Grove is not too far from you at this point. As you traverse through the woods here somewhat successfully, you definitely get the impression that other creatures have been here recently. Maybe it was those crabs you've heard so much about. You're not entirely the most clear on what they look like, or how far they come from shore. So all sorts of various troublemakers could be out here. And as you approach Lily Grove, you get the sense that there certainly is some trouble here. At a distance, you can see a few fires lit in small little mouse houses, but not nearly as many as you would expect. And although it is spring, the weather is still quite cold. There should be lots of mice here that are burning little sticks to stay warm. Getting into the outside of town, you get the impression that it really is quite unkempt. Winter went away and no one has really maintained it. That there are barricades along the outside of the town here, but they're covered in moss. No one's cleaned them. As you approach, the gate is closed in front of you. No mice are outside to greet you.
This isn't usual, is it?
I don't think so.
Something's wrong.
Pretty unusual.
We need to find somebody that can tell us what's going on.
Not that one.
Do the gates, like, if I tug on them, do they open?
Yeah, they're loose. They're not secured at all. You push on them. I mean, they will stop after they open a little bit, but you can squeeze through. There's a latch on them, but it seems quite loose.
Look for one of the fires from one of the survivors, question mark?
Yeah. So looking inside, there definitely are, still homes in here. It doesn't look like it's been destroyed, although some homes are clearly damaged. You see a few fires towards the other end of the valley. So Lily Grove is really shaped like a very, very small valley. You've got your little palisade ring around it at the edge, and then it comes down like a crater. And in the very, very middle, you can see the largest building in town, which looks like 2 stories tall. It's very much the largest building here at 2 stories tall. Looks like a manor or perhaps an inn, something like that. And a very large well right in the very center of town. Actually, we'll see in the distance, because you've got quite a nice view from up here. There are a couple of mice outside of that large building.
Oh, we should go see them.
All right.
So you
Hey.
slowly wander through. You get quite the opposite reaction to what you had in Maple Harbor. No one comes out to greet you. No one lowers the shutters on their windows to you as you walk past.
Oh, donation.
You don't hear a sound. Donation. I love donations. For Extra Life in
Dork Knight just
particular.
donated $50 and won't ask for anything for it because it's late in the stream. No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's all good.
We can figure it out, or we can add shenanigans to a future stream. I'm running a stream on Sunday too.
True.
Okay, but we'll see. If you have an idea for some sort of shenanigan twist, we can do at the very, very end. You keep us posted, and perhaps Mr. Darktails will DM me. But until then, let us continue through. And thank you so much for supporting this wonderful cause. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And all right.
Thank you so much.
So as you wander further through town, you see a couple of signs pointing you towards the Pedal and Potter, which you figure must be that building ahead. What looks like it was probably a cute inn, but it's not super well kept after winter. No one's really cleaned it properly. And outside you will see 2 mice. And sorry, I'm going to check DMs really, really quick. Oh, I do see a message. Reroll is that. Okay, that sounds good.
Cool.
Yes,
Thanks, Krista.
I'm into
I couldn't
this.
read that.
Let me grab some water.
Yeah, everyone can have a reroll, and the GM.
Oh, I like to hurt
have
the more
a
equivalent. I
heat
can be
things up.
mean to y'all. All right. See 1 or 3. You'll see 2 mice here. One of them is a portly gentleman mouse with whiskers that curve up a little bit like a mustache. And the other one looks kind of like an older, I'm sorry to put it this way, more regal Cinnamon. You're pretty confident that is Sir Bartholomew. As you approach, both of them look haggard and, almost don't even notice you. But they stop whatever conversation they're having as you approach and look at you with quite a lot of surprise.
Sir Bartholomew? Sir Bartholomew? Could that be you?
Also sort of trying to get his bearings. Yes. Guard's mouse? How may I be of assistance?
I'm Cinnamon of the Patrol Guard, and we've been sent here to
all the way from Loch.
Aye, that we have. Well, can I? There's been no word from. There's been no word from you, and there's been no word from Lily Grove.
We've had no word either, but I'm glad you're here. His demeanor seems to change, and he's looking like he wants to take charge of this situation. The mice have been vanishing all winter. Something is coming every few days in the night. Villagers have caught glimpses of large shapes moving close to the ground, but nobody has seen anything detailed. At least no mouse still living, he says dramatically. The portly mouse gentleman pipes up. We call it the night terror.
What?
Great name.
Is that why everyone is hiding away? How many have you lost?
24. This town is not large. That's probably half the town.
Well, Bartholomew, have you patrolled out at night, and do you have any information on what this?
Of course I
night
have. Of
terror
course
is?
I have. Don't you think I've tried to do something about this? He looks really on edge.
But perhaps you could share your information with us and we could help.
Yes. This is a good idea. Really, I'm glad you're here. I'm hopeful that we can find this thing and do whatever it is. What if looks at you? Who is in charge of your patrol?
It's
Right. I don't recognize you. You must be a new patrol leader.
oh,
Well, welcome
Stream.
to the
Fairly new.
You got
Did we
a
lose
field
Dream?
promotion.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something about stream kerfuffles. Oh, a field promotion. Well, I'll be taking over then. Congratulations for getting them this far. It's greatly appreciated. Well then. Oh, stream flickered for a moment. Okay, noted. But as long as we're still here, we'll power through it.
I didn't see it on my end, but
So he beckons you in to the inn. Inside there are no other mice, but there's a little bit of a stockpile and stuff here. And Bart wants to talk to you about how your journey went and all of that stuff. Field mouse now. So gets an update on you on how all that stuff went, and is curious about the route that you took to get here, and what Gwendolyn told you and all of that stuff. Yeah, carry on. You don't really have that much in the way of supplies here. But I think Clover is willing to share a little bit with the promise that you will join Bart in thwarting this night terror, as he says. He's clearly quite terrified, but very, very glad that you're here. His little inn is covered in dust, except for like the small path he clearly walks back and forth from bed to hiding behind the bar to the door on occasion. There's very little movement in this space. Talking with Bart a little bit more, you'll learn, like he spent much of the war in Spruce Tuck. You hang out for a little bit of time. He studied under the science most, and he's actually from not too far from here. He's from Oak Grove. But he's determined to see through whatever nightmares befall in this community before returning to his own. He doesn't say his, it's his voice, you know what I mean? What do you do? You're in sort of an inn in the middle of the town here. You could go out and investigate, but currently there's no real sign of like what this thing is. You could stay here and wait, see what happens. You have lots of options.
Is there a way to set up like some kind of alarm system? Like, have they done anything like that yet? No.
I'm sorry, terrible
No,
timing.
it's all good.
So for the first question, absolutely, there are an awful lot of ways to set up an alarm system. They haven't done
Okay.
anything like that at all.
Cool.
We could
Would-
gather everyone in one place.
You can go around the town and try to get everyone together. Bart will vehemently disagree and suggest that keeping everyone separate keeps at least most of them safe.
But
I mean,
Would hate for it to get all of
then
them
they're
at
just
once.
taken one by one.
Better than them being taken all at once.
have you ever tried to break a bundle of sticks? No, it's like an arrow. An arrow is pretty easy to break over your knee, but if you take about 10 arrows together, it's much harder. You get 100 arrows. How many arrows do you have here? I mean, how many people do you have here?
Clover will pipe up with the numbers that there's about 25 Myst remaining, scattered throughout the town. As far as they know, perhaps that changed
Well, I can't break
overnight,
25
but it
arrows
seems
over
like
my
everyone
knee.
is still here.
I don't think
And
it's
with us,
big
that
enough to
makes-
take.
He won't press the
49?
point too much. And the four of you can spend the day with Clover's slow and very cautious assistance, getting everyone together. He will say that whatever it is only seems to attack at night. So he's confident that you'll be safe during the day, and will help lead you all to the remaining mice. As you get a better look at these homes, a lot of these homes are damaged. Like the doors have been knocked open. Part of the roof is missing. Like something has attacked these buildings.
Hmm.
Is there any way to like try and identify?
Sure. Why don't we? I almost want this to be Scout. It's going to be a DC 3. And it's Scout for a specific reason, but I will not explain the reason.
I can help with my one good eye.
I'll use Haggler.
Okay, sounds good. And for some,
Haggle with the
The
universe
DC
to
on
give
this
me the
is-
information.
the DC on this is 1. I say because I just rolled a bunch of dice and D20.
Oh, on this
Roll
guy.
20.
Well, okay, I've got 2 scout. So yeah, if Trevor and Cinnamon are helping me, I'll do that.
Sure, y'all helping out. Deal of a 4 total.
I can't help out with that though. I don't have it.
Okay, awesome.
Rufus
Well, you're the
Cinnamon can help.
assistants.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
Come on, you.
That's
Oh, now it's
quite
fine again.
sad.
Oh, now
Are
it's
we,
fine
are we
again.
back again? Oh,
It's
goodness.
fine.
Yeah, I didn't see a
Back-
flicker this time.
Extreme mayhem all around. Okay, so you have
Now it's doing it again.
Seems still on my end so far.
And
we still
it's
good on your end
gone.
so far?
Oh, and it's back.
and it's back and it's gone and it's back and it's
All
back
right.
and it's gone.
So, I think I've got an idea of something I should be able to do. I'll be back in just a sec. I'm gonna go and just like put a fan on my modem so that it's cooler, just in case that's what's causing it.
Sure,
So keep going, keep going. I'll catch up.
Give it
I'll
a
catch
go.
up.
Give it a go. We'll keep going. So you decide to, while you're being escorted by Clover through the town here to the survivors, and you're gathering them. They're all quite terrified, and they look a little worse for wear. Like they haven't really been eating much. There hasn't really been much of a harvest, but quite excited to see new faces in particular, and they seem quite hopeful that something will change. But as you're looking at these buildings, they're damaged, but not like specifically by a beast. Like clearly there are weapon marks on the side of this building. Like something using tools has done this.
Mm-hmm.
Mouse-sized tools?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a little larger.
Weasel-sized tools?
I'm not a doctor of
Weaselology?
weaselology. Yeah. But it looks like there are a few marks like that, and there's lots of like ransacking and chaos that has happened in these homes. But there's
Interesting.
definitely imprints from like metal weapons.
Mm.
Have any of the valuables
And also,
been going
as you're
missing, or just
roaming
the
around in
people?
here, I guess other stuff that you will notice. The well is capped off. So it's a very large well, but it's capped. So they all have rainwater that they've gathered that they're drinking from. And the villagers will tell you that this is because Bart luckily let them know that the well was not safe to drink. There was some kind of an infection that came through over the winter. So they've sealed it off, and they're subsisting on rainwater and desperation at this point.
Mm.
Can I look in the well?
It's sealed off with a big, huge pile of wood, like very heavily.
Oh, I
enforced, it
can't.
looks like.
Oh, okay. So not really movable at all.
It's fully capped. Yeah, you can't easily move in.
Okay. All right. I would like to set, and maybe Rufus can help me with this because it's gonna involve like thread work and weaving and stuff. But I
Mhm.
want to set up some like triggers around the well
And
Sure,
then
that sounds good.
yeah, and then maybe some triggers
Who are
like randomly
you telling
around.
about this plan? Like, is it just the folks here? Are you gonna get villagers to help you? What's your plan here?
I think it'll just be Rufus and Cinnamon and Trevor if he's there.
Okay, sounds good.
And just like I'm kind of worried that maybe if there's something bigger than us but could fit in the well, they might be able to move this stuff out of the way, and so they might be coming out of it. So maybe we should set up some alarms over here that they wouldn't be expecting. But then also do some around the town if we can, because we want to make sure that we are aware if something's coming in. Or something.
Sounds good.
I would almost want to gather everyone in one
So-
spot and set traps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea too.
So let's say that is the plan here, because we're quite limited on time. I want to make sure
Yep.
I want to get to an okay closing
So
point. We
everyone
keep
in one
losing so
place,
much time
traps.
when the stream
I
pauses.
know.
It's difficult
Oh my
to
God.
time this out. Cripes. So you gather everyone in the inn, perhaps, or somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the inn.
since
Okay.
it's
So
in
we
the
gather
center.
everyone together into the inn. And you set up your tripwires around the well. I'm hopeful that Kelly will return, otherwise it'll be a pretty significant change of scenes
Yeah.
to pop back to. But we can do our best on it and see what mayhem occurs. Stay with
Trevor
us. We're
was the knight.
trying. We're trying.
Trevor was the night slasher all along.
The
Oh,
night
no.
slasher all along. Dun dun dun. The night terror. Ooh. I give every mouse a weird voice just for funsies. Hey,
I-
it's the
I
intro
like
there.
using fable voices too.
I think fable voices are the best source of silly voices in a fantasy game.
Chicken.
Where are we
Do
going
silly
to?
fantasy games for updates for what has occurred, just so you know, because we're
I-
going to power through a little
you
bit.
heard
'cause I
everything?
don't want to lose too much.
I
more
heard
time. Did you
everything.
actually hear
I heard it
everything?
all. I know
Perfect.
everything.
Perfect.
Have you seen the size of his ears?
They're massive. I don't know why I'm wearing the headphones down here if they're up here, but hey.
Let's do a whole little adventure. I'm worried about time. I thought we had enough time to do something that I'm now not the most sure we have time to do. So we might have to resolve this without using the system that I wanted to use, but we'll see. We'll talk through it and we'll see what feels best narratively, and we can figure out a shorter way to do it mechanically. So you set your trap. You don't tell anyone. None of the villagers, not even Clover, who is the most trustworthy round little mouse you've ever met. He's great. So no one knows you've set this stuff up and you gather everyone together in the well. Do you tell them that you're going to there's a second floor, so you can watch from the windows up there and stuff like that and keep an eye out. So you set up watch and you wait to see what happens overnight. Let's see. Bart is with you on this, and he wants to patrol around a little bit. So he's going to be watching with you and watching around outside and walking around and all of that stuff. Y'all should roll me a scout. Who's sort of taking the lead for watching?
Scout's not my strongest.
It
Rufus,
sounds like
you have
this might,
scout, don't
this
you?
might be a
I
Rufus
have
or a Lily.
scout of 2.
Yeah,
I
so
can
do
do
I.
it.
Okay.
I can help if Rufus wants to take.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure, that sounds good.
I've
to
got
me.
Nightwise.
Oh yeah, so use that to assist. Absolutely. So that's very much a +1. You can give advice on doing stuff in the night.
So I get 4 dice then. Okay.
Mhm.
Wait, what's my difficulty?
This is going to be a difficulty of 2.
Okay, I got 2.
Okay, brilliant. So you are going to notice. Are you on the second floor, peering out the little mousy window into the
Second
village and all
floor,
that stuff?
halberd in hand, ready to jump down if needed.
Okay, perfect.
Lily's
So you'll notice 2 things almost at once. So you're surprised it took you this long to catch it, actually, but quite suddenly you see a little glint of fire, not too far away from the inn. Someone throws a torch towards it. And at the same time, you hear a whole heck of an awful lot of noise as something hits your tripwire and causes an awful lot of chaos. But the inn has been set alight. What do? We may have to switch this to being primarily narrative at this point, so we'll figure it out. I'll throw in some rolls as we can. Inn's on fire. It's full of a whole bunch of villagers. What are you doing?
All the villagers need to get out.
Yeah.
They gotta
And wait,
put it
actually,
out.
also, what did you roll on that altogether, Rufus? What was your total?
2.
2. Okay, awesome. So torch was thrown. It definitely looked like a mouse threw that torch. And there was probably only one mouse outside.
He'll probably scream
right.
back to tell everyone, get everyone out of the inn. Then he's gonna jump down and go where his traps are.
Okay, sounds good. So you're gonna yell to get everyone out of the inn. You jump out the window. Are the rest of you getting the random mouse civilians out of the quickly burning
that's
inn?
the point.
There's a back door. Yeah. Okay. So
Everybody out! Everybody out! Just get away from the fire! The fire's
doors
coming!
have
Cinnamon.
You're gonna be roasted to ice if you don't get out here! Come on out into it!
The doors have been barred, but I fully believe in your ability to break through them. We won't do tests on that because we're in a rush.
Cinnamon's
we've
going
lost
to
so many
chase the
timed
cloaked,
crashes.
the figure, though.
Okay,
Here's
awesome. So
Rufus.
you go out there to chase the cloaked figure. And as you catch up with the cloaked figure, you're going to catch up with Rufus, Trevor, and Lily as you head towards the traps, I assume, to see what the heck has happened. And as the fire goes up in the inn, it illuminates the scene for you, and you see Bartholomew standing there looking haggard, angry, and desperate with two weasels behind him. They've clearly come through the well. They broke through the top. And they have weapons, and they attempt to kill you. Combat ensues. This is where I would typically be running a conflict here, and I thought we had the time for it, but we lost like 15 minutes, and I'm like, I don't think that we really do to then also do stuff after that. But we'll do the really, really quick version of this.
Okay.
So, who's taking the lead for this fight?
This is
Cinnamon.
this is Cinnamon's time to show his mettle.
Okay, awesome. So on your character sheet, I might be doing a little bit of shenanigans here to try to make this work. It says conflict actions, where there's action 1, action 2, and action 3. So as a group, y'all need to pick 3 things in order. So you can choose like attack, defend, feint, or feint, maneuver, or something like that. Just choose for yourselves what they are. I'm going to mark down what mine are, and this helps us determine how this goes. I'm not going to calculate disposition. I'm going to basically go by the stats that comes from.
Individually or
as a group. So as a group, you're coming up with your tactics on the fly, and I'll come up with the tactics for the other side, and then we sort of reveal at the same time, and they go together in certain ways to give you advantages and stuff.
So you just pretend you don't hear us.
Well, I do mine are locked in first, and then you choose.
Okay.
Okay, mine are locked in.
I think, personally, I don't know. What do you think, Cinnamon? You're the leader.
they're
How
probably
many
going
were
to
there?
launch an offensive first. So if we defend,
There are 2 weasels and 1 hero of the Mouseguard.
if we defend and then attack right after.
I was thinking defend,
Okay.
maneuver, attack.
Defend, maneuver, attack.
Because they're going
Okay,
to charge.
That sounds
We have
good.
to defend, move around, and stab them in the butt.
So then the other thing that we do in a conflict is we say what our goals are for this. So their goals are pretty openly to drive you from the town and possibly to kill you. But to start, they want to try to drive you from the town. What are your goals in this conflict?
Protect the civilians.
Sure. Okay. That sounds good. That sounds good.
To
So-
protect
die.
the civilians, not die.
Okay.
If we can kill or capture Bartholomew.
That sounds
Definitely-
good.
definitely
It's a
try to
nice little
capture 'em,
side
I
bonus.
think.
So the way the conflict works, I'm going to talk through more how it works than to actually do it, because I want to get us to a nice narrative resolution. So we're going to reveal these one at a time, and then there's a chart that you see there next to disposition, and that sort of determines what happens with rolls that happen. I'm going to go based on those numbers more than rolls to sort of see how this comes together. And then conflict typically ends with a compromise. So your first action is to do what? I've chosen to attack.
We're defending.
Defending.
You're defending.
Defend.
Okay, brilliant. So I think that goes pretty okay for you. And then I've chosen to feint.
We
did
chose
maneuvering.
maneuver.
Maneuvering.
Chose maneuvering. Okay. And then I'm going to attack.
We chose
Okay,
attack.
We chose attack. Can we do
Okay.
it multiple times?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Oh.
Uh,
So we could attack.
well, as far as I- as
attack.
far
Oh,
as
we
I
could have just
know.
attack,
I
attack,
could-
attack.
I
Yeah,
could totally be wrong.
No,
I think you can
like
choose
this.
one each time. Okay, so typically we would then be rolling for each of those, and we'd be damaging our disposition, which is sort of like our health pool in this conflict. Instead, narratively, I think we're going to get into a type of compromise. And I think we're getting into compromise that's mostly on your side here, because you have the assistance of a whole angry town. So let's get into our dramatic compromise table here. So you're winning a conflict. You've reduced your opponent's disposition to 0. That totally happened. Don't worry about it.
Totally.
And now we're going to do a bit of a compromise. So I think they got a good hit on you. They probably would have done about half damage to you, but you definitely came out. So you owe the loser a pretty significant concession to some degree. So I think in this case, why don't we say narratively, so the weasels are going to attack the villagers here. So I think the compromise might be that they get a couple. So you don't completely succeed to defend them. You will chase off the weasels, and you will capture Bartholomew.
But we
You
love
can't
the
escape
devils.
quite as easily as a giant weasel can. And fighting these things is terrifying. Like these are the orcs of the setting, but they're like an orc in a setting where an orc is 6 times your size. It's a pretty
they're-
significant combat, and that's why I wanted the time for it. But oh well, it happens. And so we're back to asking the all important question. You're all quite beaten up. Let's say I've given you some conditions. You've probably picked up angry at least at one point. Cinnamon, let's give you angry. And then for anyone who
Angry.
assisted, you're tired and hungry, just to give you a little bit of some stuff to deal with on that. And what do? You have captured a hero of the Mouseguard. He has told you nothing at this point.
Are we? So there's a compromise where we had to lose something, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So Cinnamon's
So there
belief.
are civilians that died in this.
Cinnamon's belief was like keep everyone alive. Like life is precious.
Mm-hmm.
Can the compromise be like he loses a hand?
Oh, if you want to like do that, sure.
I was gonna throw Lily in that as well.
Sure,
Like,
yeah. Why don't we do
lose
that instead?
something,
Maybe
but
you,
like
you
jump
lose
in
a limb
front
instead.
and defend the civilians.
Yeah, I like that. That could be a thing that's happened. And
Yeah, same
honestly,
with
like
Trevor.
narratively, that might be a fun moment. If you're all jumping in and like directly stopping the civilians,
Mhm.
maybe Bart has a little bit of a like moral crisis, seeing you do what people are told the guard do. And he is very much
What are you
not
doing,
been
Bart?
that recently.
This is supposed to be you.
Yes.
This is
Okay, I
supposed
like
to be
this.
you.
You're supposed to be a
So at the
hero.
end of the fight, you actually
Not a
have
dig.
lost no villagers, but Cinnamon, you've lost a paw, and you're all quite wounded at this point. But you do fight them off, and you have acquired a Bartholomew. He looks quite sullen. We have only a little bit of time, so he will move to explain. Looks at you,
Why'd you do
looking
it?
at him.
Wait. Why'd you do it?
It's too funny. What choice do I
cared.
have? He says.
You haven't got a choice.
I did. I chose this.
You chose the weasels over your own people. I'm sorry, Lillian. You have to speak up.
Do you not know the horrors of war, tender paws? I was staving off an invasion. He slams. He's quite wounded. What choice did I have? It was for the greater good. It was here or Oak Grove. I couldn't choose my home.
You don't
could've told me.
compromise with the weasels. You know that.
They just backstab you in the end.
You're just as bad as you are.
We don't
I'm
trade lives here.
disappointed.
Well,
you
so
call
the
yourself-
villagers now that this plot is revealed, very much want to kill him. They're not pleased. Clover of all mice is like calling for his blood. But this is a particularly rare circumstance. The Mouseguard are not really like judge or jury or any of that stuff in towns or villages or anything like that, except you police your own and you police the pathways. And this was one of your own. So in this case, it's up to you what happens with them. You have a at least for the moment, war hero prisoner. What do you do?
Well, as much as I'd like to make you suffer the same fate, it ain't civilized. We'll take you back to Lockhaven.
Okay, sounds good. We would set off for part 2 on a whole adventurous journey with a very sullen prisoner to make it all the way back there. And who knows, maybe you all get eaten by crabs.
Oh no.
All right.
Well,
why
the
don't
hook
we
will-
roll credits on episode 1 of Mouseguard Adventures here? I'm really saddened that we couldn't do the proper conflict mechanic, but I think that worked out okay in the end. And I hope you
I'm
had
sorry.
some nice decisions to make. Oh, it's not your fault at all. It's like timing a one shot is always a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty okay to time around it. But when you have like mystery interruptions, that's a challenge.
It was the weasels.
Oh,
it was always the weasels.
It was definitely the weasels. They were in your Ethernet cable, absolutely, out to get you
Definitely.
200%. But I hope you had a lot of fun with that. I really enjoyed running.
Well, the
this
Myst and
system.
Paul will
I
give
think
him a
it's
hook,
cute.
and I'll complete his.
Yeah, I
pirate
think
look.
that's a good idea.
Yes.
You got to go full piratey. Go back to Maple Harbor looking even more pirate. They'll make you the new mayor. You know.
I can make you a hook later.
Mirabelle's pretty.
Yes.
pretty
Oh,
Lily,
yeah.
awesome
will, Lily
in
will
there.
design one of those like double hooks that
Oh
get
yeah.
this thing.
Oh, with, like, the
Or you can put your
pinchers.
axe-
The pinchers.
axe on your
Yeah.
arm.
Oh, I
Attach your
love
axe
that.
to your
That's
arm.
adorable.
Mm.
All right.
Mhm.
Also, I want to see stuff.
Whoa.
So hang on.
Pupil dilation difference. Just
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
that's
Yep.
weird. Everything is so
What?
bright in my left eye.
So we have
Oh, yeah.
5
Dark.
whole minutes to hang out and debrief a little bit, and I really like that. So why don't we use that? We should do an outro introduction for who we are. But before that, how did you find the game? Did it kind of make sense? Did you have fun with it despite the interruptions?
Yeah. I
You
think it would be a
enjoy
lot of fun as
being
like a
Myst?
campaign.
Yeah,
I think it would be
so
pretty good
too.
if it had a little more time to breathe.
Yeah.
Mhm,
definitely.
yeah.
It
But I felt I had an awful lot of fun exploring the systems and seeing the stuff that could be done. I really loved your characters. They were so much fun to work with, and that's something for the setting I wasn't sure of because I've only played it once before. I've never run it, and character creation is so like, you all
Different.
seem so similar stat wise, but like in how you play, there's so much difference between you all, and it's really lovely. So
Mhm.
I think
it'd
I
be
would love
really-
to run more of this, and perchance I will sometime. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I'll have to get mouse ears.
Thanks for this
But
one.
let's do a little outro. Thank you so much for joining me for this one, and thank you all so much for being here and for supporting. It was really lovely to have y'all. I'm sorry that we kept losing the stream, but it happens.
I'm
was
sorry.
great.
Mhm.
Everybody
So
was on
let's
mouse
do,
point.
a mouse point.
Oh my
Let's do a little loop of outros here. Tell us who you are. Tell us how you've been. Tell us where to find you. And why don't we start with a noble Trazelta?
I'm
Thank
noble. I
you,
don't know about all
Aria.
that.
I think you're quite noble. You're a very dramatic mousy mouse, and you bonk me on the head all the time. So
I'm just chaotic. I am
yeah,
Traz.
chaotic noble.
But yeah, I'm Traj. You can usually find me here on Dork Tales, or you'll also be seeing me more on Barricades' channel in a couple of weeks. Time.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Sorry, I was just making sure that Sorcerer knew that there would be another stream here in just 30 minutes because this is Extra Life, and these beautiful beings are streaming all weekend long, sometimes with my face involved. But
Can't
I won't be
stop,
back
won't
here
stop.
until Sunday. But
don't
speaking of
worry,
people
Sorcerer,
who
we'll be
may be
back.
back here as well, Cal, who are you? How are you? How you been? Where do we find you?
I'm good. Usually go by NeoCal. There's an underscore in there because someone else took it without an underscore.
Nefarious.
That guy or girl.
That nefarious being.
That nefarious being. Yeah, you like that word. I like that word now. I'm going to be saying
It's
nefarious
good.
a lot
It's really good. I'm
now
really
because of
big fan
you.
Nefarious. Yeah. I'm
Um,
glad to be of service.
I host a couple like geeky, like 90s, so like Transformers, an ongoing one, podcast, and that's under Lasercomb Podcasts. But you can find out more about that on Twitter. Follow me at NeoCal, NEO_KAL.
All right,
do it. This has
awesome.
been
I'm
fun.
definitely going to. I don't think I follow you on Twitter right now. I'm clearly doing something wrong. Let me do that. in a moment.
Clearly.
I will
Uh-huh,
counter follow.
Clearly. Dun. All right, following around in the Lucy circle. Hello, Krista. How are you
Hello.
doing? Who are you? What are you up to? Where do we find you?
I'm doing great. This was an awesome game. I loved it. I am Krista. I'm Chihista in the chat. I'm Chihista on TikTok, or Chihista FX. Sorry, Chihista FX. And this has been wonderful. It's been very exciting. This is my last game for the day, but everybody stick around for the next two games tonight. They're going to be amazing. I am back tomorrow morning, bright and early, and then I'm also running the Quiet Ear tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time, which Cal and Traz are both in. One day I'll get you in 1 milli. I'll get you in my next
One of these
Quiet
days.
Year because
I really
it-
love
you-
this Quiet Year.
Well, they were in the first one.
Were you in the first?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's
The-
right.
Yeah.
'cause We did
Oh,
the
you
were.
like the big
Yeah.
ones,
You
remember?
were.
With
Yes,
the
you were.
gnome.
So you've already done it.
Do it again.
Yep, it
Let's
was quite
get.
delightful. I would love
I'm
to do it
almost at the
again.
point where I can start looping people back in again.
It was
And-
pretty,
and then-
pretty awesome.
It's so much fun. And then we're doing The Witch is Dead on Saturday or on Sunday as our follow-up game. So I'm very excited.
Oh.
Thank you everyone for your donations. I hope you save some up for the future games as well.
I hope so too. There are so many more games coming up. This is only the second game in a whole weekend of how many do we have? 12?
13.
13. Holy
Lucky
Stromboli.
number
Is that an awful
13.
lot of tabletop gaming? Speaking of an awful lot of tabletop gaming, hey, yo, Kelly, where do we find you? What do you do?
Hey, you can find me. You can find me right here. This is welcome to my home. Please wipe your feet. Yeah, you can find me here. I am about to run away from the camera and go green myself for to reprise. Oh, donation. To reprise Larkin Zell in a game that's going to be in about a half hour. So just stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Lady Glitch, thank you for the donation.
Oh,
Hey, Lady Glitch. That's one of my
hello.
co-hosts,
What?
by the way.
Yep.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
I know of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. But that's where you can find me. Thanks for the game, Millie. It was great.
Awesome. Thank you. And I have been Millie and or Bunny Hearted. You can find me at twitch.tv/Bunny Hearted, where I'm a cozy, comfy VTuber. Do my best to make a warm, welcoming, and inclusive space. I would love to welcome you at some point. I'm also on Twitter at Bunny Hearted GG. And here on occasion, I won't be back here until Sunday, unfortunately. I have a different tabletop game tomorrow when it didn't work schedule-wise.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
sorry, I'm betraying you.
Oh no!
I'm betraying you. But I'm really excited to be back, and I'll be watching basically every game all weekend. I'm so excited for this. It'll be an awful lot of fun. I love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a really nice half an hour until the next game starts.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. We're going to go on. Oh, thanks for the other donation. Christina. Oh, thanks, Christina.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
A different one.
Thank you.
A lot of
Different
Chris's.
name.
A lot
All
of
right, so
Chris's,
folks-
a lot of Christinas.
I got to bounce, but we'll be back in a bit. Don't forget to donate. Help sick kids. It's going to be great. We'll see you
Bye,
in 30
guys.
minutes. The stream's going to keep rolling.
All right. Toodaloos.
Toodaloo.
Toulouse.